Polka, polka, polka.
Were we talking about that last week?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so all right.
Actually, more appropriately would be
You can't
even see.
Yes. All right. Oh Jesus. We good?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
From a Gen X Point of View podcast is brought to you today by the letter.
Do you want to do that again?
Yeah. No,
I can fix that in post for the audio version.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right. I almost said from all things stars. Fuck.
This is why we don't break the formula.
Right. From a Gen X Point of View podcast is brought to you today by the letter
K, as in Kamala. So, there have only been two human beings on the face of this earth that go by the name of Kamala that I'm aware of. And something significant happened to both in the last week. The first, the biggest one that I always knew of, was Kamala, the Ugandan giant, the pro wrestler. So he was big guy. He did the whole face paint and like this whole African garb thing because he was supposed to be the Ugandan giant. He was supposed to be this big, just fucking monstrous villain basically, and he'd always like get built up and then he'd get beat by the baby faces, be it Hulk Hogan, the Undertaker, whoever.
The baby faces?
Yeah, I know you're not a wrestling guy, so you probably don't understand any of this terminology. But yeah, I think it was just about a week ago now. He actually passed away. He was 70. I know he's been battling a whole bunch of health issues.
That's tough when you're that big.
Yeah, he was a big guy. He had diabetes, so he was like a double amputee towards the end of his life.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so life was rough. But he died at the age of 70 last week. And then fucking 1 or 2 days later, Kamala Harris, or I think she pronounces it Kamala, but either way, Kamala Harris was picked as Joe Biden's running mate for the presidential election, which is interesting. I mean, I gotta say, I actually don't dislike her.
I don't know enough about her to form an opinion, so I need to start learning, but I'm not at that point where I'm like, okay, let me seriously research this.
I mean, she's a moderate stream. I mean, she's left-leaning, but she's tough on crime. She locked a whole bunch of people away in California because she was the district attorney in California.
I've seen conflicting things with that, though.
Well, she might have mistakenly locked up one person and then fought to keep DNA evidence out. But otherwise, tough on crime, fairly moderate Democrat. And, I mean, on paper, this should be a slam dunk for fucking Biden Harris.
Yeah.
Should be. Because all they have to do is one thing, and they will win this election by a landslide. But I guarantee you they're not going to do it.
They just need to shut the fuck up and...
Close. They just need to not be crazy. Yeah. That's it. Just don't be crazy. And by that, I mean don't pander to the far left extremists of your fucking party. But I guarantee you they're not going to do that, and they're going to lose this fucking election. So,
we'll see.
Because what they should be doing, sorry to get into politics this early into an episode, but what they should be doing is talk about, we need to get rid of COVID ASAP. We need to get the economy back on track. And we need a little bit of unity and harmony in this fucking country.
Right.
They're not going to do that. Their campaign is going to be filled with words like patriarchy and defunding the police and systemic racism and evil Trump, orange man bad. And they're going to lose this fucking election because they're not going to just keep it simple. They're going to pander to the far left, and they're going to get their asses kicked. I don't give a shit what the polls said. Remember what happened in 2016?
Yeah, no. Yeah, you can't rely on the polls, and there's plenty of fucking memes to go along with that. And honestly, I agree with you. If they just lean back and shut the fuck up, they can win.
Yeah.
Because Big Boy's going to do something fucking dumb.
I mean, he does something dumb every day.
Well, yeah, this is true. But at some point, it's gonna be just counterintuitive to even be thinking about him.
Mhm.
Like all the people, like all the Trump flags that you see flying around and all that thing, like at some point you have to realize that he is he's a psychopath, right? And more so than most. Like all the presidents are. All the presidents are.
Yeah.
I've reading that fucking Washington book, man. He established that persona at the age of 15.
Oh, really?
At the age of 15, he was already posturing himself to be, this is what I want George Washington to look like. And then everything he did from that point was all calculated and methodical.
Nice.
Shit.
Do we need to pause?
Pause.
All right. We're going to pause real quick. Dave is dealing with some family issues.
Hey.
Oh, God. I got to make a note. Yeah, this is what happens sometimes when you do it live. Shit comes up. So at 6:30, Dave phone call. So we're gonna have to edit all of this out. Oh, re-edit Dave's intro. Then we're gonna have to do another 30 seconds of silence when he gets back. This is what we do. So how's everyone doing tonight? Or I guess it's starting to get to the evening. I guess evening technically is after 5 o'clock, right? It's not even 5 o'clock here in the East Coast yet. Did you ever see that scene from Scanners when that dude's head explodes? Bronco Bet. Oh, by the way, we're reading all of the 5-star reviews in this episode. And yes, Tom, that includes yours. Better like fucking turn off his phone when he gets back. He had to take a call right before this too. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Finally got some real Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Kristen surprised me. Oh, this is a good story. I'm teleworking a couple days ago. No, this was Saturday. So I wasn't even teleworking. I was home just doing whatever the fuck I do when I'm home. She comes home from the fucking grocery store or something. She went out and she's like, oh, I got something really heavy in the car I need your help with. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, I'm busy right now. Oh, yeah, I was working out. It's in the middle of back and bicep day. And she's like, all right, I need your help whenever you're done. I'm like, okay, cool. So I finish up. I completely forget about it. And then she gets on me. She's like, I told you I needed help with something. I'm like, God damn it. Fucking whatever. So I go outside, start to get a little upset. I'm like, God damn it, I got to go outside and do all this, blah, blah. And she's like, it's in the trunk. So I'm like, all right. So I open up the trunk. There's a big case of Sam Adams Oktoberfest in the trunk. I'm like, nice. Thank you. So this is why wives are awesome. And Solsky, you could shut your whore mouth right now. Everything cool?
No. God, no.
Cool enough for the next
Cool
2
enough
hours?
for the next 2 hours.
All right. You're going to have to turn off your phone?
No, I told her what I was doing, so I should not get another phone call.
All right. So let's do another 30 seconds of silence so I know when to restart, and then we will resume. So 30 seconds.
Do the countdown?
No, let me do actual silence this time. So 30 seconds of silence starting now. So anyway, rest in peace, Kamala. Best of luck, Kamala Harris. And moving on. So what else we got today?
We got to talk about El Yucateco.
We do.
El Yucateco, king of hot sauce, the king of flavor, as Jason holds up the bottles. I really wish you'd take a rag to the bottles because it just.
I've actually tried that.
Really?
And the stuff is so good that it just sticks to the fucking bottle.
Fair enough.
In a package.
What did you make with El Yucateco? Come on, I know you're dying to tell us.
So I know I mentioned this last week. I used the regular red, the salsa picante roja, chili habanero red hot sauce in my eggs. This is now the only thing I will mix in with my eggs. I've experimented with a few now. This is the one when you're making eggs, like scrambled type of eggs. This is what you mix in before you ever even turn on the flame. What I do is I crack 4 eggs, put them in the pan, mix it up. Then I pour in my El Yucateco, the red sauce, mix it up. Then I turn on the burner and then start cooking the eggs from there. Nice. But I do still love to top it off with the salsa picante verde sauce on one of my wraps because the 4 eggs makes 2 of my tortilla wraps.
Okay.
And then with the other one, I've been getting into the triple extra hot, extra picante sauce. So nice. I top one off with the chili verde, the other one with the triple X. So good. And that is my perfect combination of El Yucateco with my eggs.
And what Jason does, and what all of you should do when you get your El Yucateco, is go on social media, tag El Yucateco hot sauce on Instagram. It's at El Yucateco _hot sauce. Mm-hmm. On every other platform, it's at El Yucateco. Get on social media, post what you're cooking with. You know, espouse the virtues of the greatest hot sauce on the planet, and let them know that Jason and Dave sent you. Give a hashtag to the Gen X POV. I know a lot of our loyal listeners are out there doing just that, and we appreciate that because you helping our sponsor helps us, and it's good stuff. It's just good.
Yes. So please, and also I wanted to bring up, if you guys have any of your own El Yucateco recipes, send them to us, post them on social media, do whatever. And again, tag us because with advertisements and contract renewals and everything coming up, we really want them to know that Gen X POV and all of our listeners support El Yucateco.
Absolutely. And you can go to shopelucateco.com. If you cannot find El Yucateco in your local store, which you probably can if you've got a Walmart or a big ticket store, you can go to Amazon, you can go to shopelucateco.com. And you can also get, if you're super into it, get some sporty socks like these right there on the website. And at some point, I will wear these, and I may hang them back on here after I wear them. Maybe I'll put these on and go work out, and then
apparently
hang them back in here.
There's some weird fucking trend with people wearing like goofy socks like that to the fucking gym. Like, what is that?
I don't know, but I've worn socks like this. These aren't goofy, Jason. These are El Yucateco awesome socks.
Okay, that is
shopelucateco.com. I know. For Lodge, we're in tuxedos and suits all the time. There's a whole sock thing that we do because you're kind of in your uniform and whatever you're wearing.
Sure.
So the only way you can really snazz things up is through your socks. So there's a whole sock game that is played. The fact is, the last 4 of us that were in charge, we've given our officers all matching socks. So if you were in Lodge with us, then everyone was wearing matching socks. And if you're out and about, you say, "Oh yeah, this is Dave's socks."
That's funny.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Wow.
Oh, I need to drink more.
Interesting. So
all over the drinking.
For those of you who are fairly new to mine and Dave's podcast, we do a thing where if you give us a 5-star review on whatever outlet it is that you listen to podcasts, most of them will come through iTunes, Apple, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
We will read them verbatim on the air. And finally, we've gotten our first wave of 5-star reviews from a Gen X point of view.
Which is fucking fantastic.
Yes.
I love it.
And we're going to go ahead and read those right now. So remember, if you want to get your 5-star review read on the air, doesn't matter what you type. You can type anything in the world, and we will read it verbatim on the show. Much like from Bronco Fett, titled Freaking Sweet. I, Jason Roscom, love the Star Trek movie Insurrection.
Why?
I hope you're happy. I hope that was worth the 5-star review. Thank you, Bronco Fett.
Insurrection, huh? Why that one in particular?
Well,
I think we did a little bit of Star Trek banter.
Yeah, I specifically mentioned at the time I did not like that movie, but apparently now Jason Roscom, love the Star Trek movie Insurrection.
5 stars. Thank you very much, Bronco Fett.
Thanks, Bronco Fett. All right, what else we got?
I am reading the next one. This is from the Moon Master,
Nice.
and it says, I may be a little biased. Then goes on to say, but Dave and Jason kick ass. Signed, definitely not Dave. 5 stars.
Nice. All right. Our next one is from our regular, the fun young lady who runs our chat, always all over our social media.
Speaking of, where is she in?
I have not seen her in the chat today, but this is from Lunar Girl, and this is titled, Welcome to This Is Your Life. This podcast is the epitome of everything that Generation X represents. Fucking right. From music and movies, fads and fun, to growing up at the tail end of the Cold War in a world where technology was just beginning. This show covers it all and then some. If you were born in the 70s, you will be whisked back in time to when you still wet the bed, hey, and ate cereal in front of the TV. Okay, I'll give you that. On Saturdays. Through those painfully awkward acne years, grunge and hip-hop thrived, and then evolved into who we are today. In this world of social distancing and political incorrectness, throw this on and be prepared to laugh your ass off. Make your millennial children listen to what life was like when you were growing up. These guys tell it how it is, no holds barred. Grab an adult beverage and relax with this podcast, because sometime adulting is hard and we all need a break.
Cheers to that.
5 stars. Thank you, Lunar Girl.
Yes, that is spectacular. The novelization of what our podcast is.
Pretty much.
We should cut and paste that and put it into our.
That should just be our show description.
It should.
That's it.
Honestly,
that's all we need.
Write that down. Do you have a notepad over there? Okay, I can't see past the computer. All right. Well, next we have 5-star review from Captain Flannel, who Jason and I off air we were talking about, like, hey, Captain Flannel is somebody who listened to the All Things Star Wars podcast.
Yes.
Left us a review.
Yes.
We may or may not have figured out who it was.
I think we did know who it was at one point.
Now?
Can't remember.
So, Captain Flannel says, can't wait! Exclamation point. Can't wait to listen to this podcast! Exclamation point. 5 stars. Thank you, Captain Flannel. And as soon as we figure out who you are, we'll make sure we say it on air.
Dave snapped.
Did snap. I did snap. What the fuck was that? Oh my God.
Lunar Girl's in the chat now.
Oh, very good. Did she hear it?
I don't know. We just read your review.
Oh, she missed it.
Just seconds.
That's all right. You rewind. It was nice.
There's a permanent record of this on YouTube. So.
Absolutely.
All right, last review.
Who's that? Who's doing that? We're gonna have Hank do it?
Oh yeah. Is Hank here today?
Hank is here today.
All right, Hank, why don't you come in and read this review for us?
I don't want to.
Please.
These 5-star reviews are just a little hokey. But all right, since I'm here, from Crazy Razzie 71, who I'm pretty sure we know who that is.
We know who that is, yeah.
Another great podcast, 5 stars. From Dave's special guest appearances on Project VCR, then Dave and Jason together on All Things Star Wars, and now your favorite foul-mouthed airmen are back from a Gen X point of view. This is the audio version, but the show is best viewed live on YouTube. Right now. If you're seeing it live, it's happening now. Sit back, have a few drinks ready, let Dave and Jason take you back to the greatest generation. And that was from Crazy Razzie, 5 stars.
Thank you. And we know who you are.
We do know who you are.
Which I do love the fact that all of these reviews always start with or end with, grab a drink and enjoy the show.
Yes.
Like, are we really associating?
Drink. Look, there's a fair amount of alcoholism throughout the Gen X generation.
That's fact. And then you add the military on top of that.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, the foul-mouthed airman is 100% accurate.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Hank back in his box.
Yeah. What's in the box?
I don't like it in here. It's dark.
All right. I guess.
All right. So we got one more. We actually got a 5-star review on Facebook.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah. So I brought that up. I remember seeing something, and it's from our friend Isaac Sipe.
Oh shit.
Who says they're special boys. I think they're neat. Thank you, Isaac.
Much appreciated.
Yes.
So before we get into our weeks, what are we actually talking about today? We didn't even talk about the title of this.
Oh my
fucking
god, we've
episode.
gone like minutes without even like.
Dave already had to take a phone call.
I
We've
did.
gotten
Like,
off on many
there's been
sidebars.
2 phone calls. There's been fucking the Oktoberfest bullshit. It's God, just horrific. And no, Ivo G, we do not pay for the reviews. So please get online.
But we do beg for them.
We will beg.
Yes.
That's because we will read them.
Yes. We ain't too proud to beg, as some would say.
And Jason will suck your dick. It's in the notes. It's in the notes. Oh, you deleted it.
Sorry, bro.
Damn. All right. Anyway, so
What are we talking about today?
oh, we are. So we talked last week about the evolution of the phone, right? And we went soup to nuts.
That last week or the week before?
I don't remember.
I think last week was the movie going experience.
Last week we talked about the movie going experience. So it was some audio visual fucking thing, right? This week we're going to talk about our television experience.
Yeah.
And from black and white TVs that we were lucky to have when we were children to the fucking monstrosities that we have now that are plugged to the internet and get us anything we want all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All that space in between. We've covered a lot of ground. We've covered a lot of fucking technology
Yeah.
in our time frame, and that's what we're going to talk about.
All right. So we're going to try and do it all in under 2 hours. So we'll see how it goes.
That'll be fine.
In the meantime,
We have plenty of time.
quickly bang through what we've been doing this week. For me, first of all, my question to everybody else out there is, are you getting sick of my gym stories? Because that's what a majority of my weeks consist of. It's me either going to the gym or fucking running, some combination of that.
Jason, that's your week. I mean, I don't, unless you're going to start making shit up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're doing. So fair enough.
So I had my tongue up this chick's ass. And she looks
You-
back and says, "Do I know you?"
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So no, I've been that's really all a majority of my spare time has been health and fitness. So I know I talk about it a lot, but fuck, that's all I do. So I'm finally back up over 3 miles of running. If you know, and maybe even the people in the audience remember from previous years, I used to run a lot, like a shitload. I'm talking like 5 to 8 miles in a shot sometimes.
Yeah.
When I was at my
We were
peak.
pretty consistently doing 8 miles.
Yeah. 8 mile.
Mhm.
And
Excuse me.
And then, of course, COVID hit this year. Fucked up me, fucked up my lungs, and I'm slowly crawling back up. I started real slow about a month ago, just doing 1 mile, and then eventually worked my way up to 2 miles. Now I'm up to 3 miles.
Nice.
I feel like I'm going to fucking die by the end, but I am up to running 3 miles. I just ran it this morning, in fact. So I was up at, I got up at 5 this morning, had some coffee, had a little snack, and then got on the road.
Dude,
ran
it was
3 miles at 6.
It was a good day to fucking run. I mean, honestly, it was super nice out.
It was. In fact, it was actually a little bit chilly this morning.
Shut
I
up.
noticed. Yeah, I'm like, ooh.
Were your nipples starting to cut into the cotton a little
Maybe
bit?
a little bit. You know, I was wearing my All Things Star Wars tank top, but yeah, I noticed it was a little bit on the chilly side. So, you know, harbinger of things to come. But yeah, I ran my 3 miles again today. Otherwise, I'm doing, you know, weightlifting, trying to get back into some kind of shape that I was in last year. Since January 26th, I've worked out in some form or fashion every single day, and sometimes more than once a day. And then there's sometimes, like Kristen and I have been taking walks at night.
Mhm.
We'll walk like a mile or more in the evenings, because I don't know about you, but I love summer nights. Summer. Oh, that was terrible.
Tell me more. Tell me
But
more.
I've always loved the evenings in the summertime. You know, growing up in Bakersfield, California,
Mhm.
we were always out doing all kinds of fucking crazy shenanigans at nighttime in the summer.
Did you have mosquitoes in Bakersfield?
Not really.
Fucking
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dry desert.
Yeah, no.
They don't really thrive out there.
Yeah, mosquitoes are a thing here,
Yeah.
and you have to be prepared for that when you go out for a walk at night in the Northeast.
Yeah. But no, we've been doing that too. So really just a lot of movement, a lot of working out for me. It's been good. And I'm starting to notice a difference. Slowly starting to see some muscles coming back, slowly seeing my gut recede, though the fucking beer isn't going to help tonight. I am actually going to do Sober October this year.
Really?
So yeah, come October, I am not going to have a drop of fucking alcohol.
So you're going to have all your Oktoberfest in September
and August.
and August.
Yeah.
And then go sober October.
Yep.
All right, good for you.
So yeah, I'm going to do that. I don't know how entertaining I'm going to be here on the podcast when I'm not drinking, but we'll see.
I see. I've given up pledges of like that. I'm going to give this up. Well, some days you just fucking need it. Some days you need a drink. Some days you need to eat some fucking carbs. That's just the way shit is. 45 fucking years old. Fuck everybody else. I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ride your fucking shit all day long. I applaud you for your efforts.
Yeah.
And you are in fact motivating me
Okay.
to do stuff. So.
And I have noticed that you've been doing a lot of writing in the morning.
Mhm.
So
usually around lunchtime.
oh,
is when I get
around
out.
lunchtime? Okay.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it in my week.
Yep.
That's
But I
we're
mean,
gonna do
really,
things.
that's all my week. It's just been me just kind of taking care of myself, and then Mondays are my days to kind of relax and drink some beer.
Perfect.
And
I know you did some telecommuting today. We can tell because you're not as fresh faced as
yes,
you would be ordinarily.
Yeah. So, but
you got a little growth going.
yeah,
So
I
it's
do need
good.
to actually shave my head. My head's overdue for a fucking.
Yeah, I need a haircut. I am in dire need. I'm at that point where it's starting to fucking bother me. Like
Oh,
in the back
right.
of my eye. I did my own. I fucking did my own haircut the last time,
Oh, did you?
and it's finally growing out to the point where I feel like I can go to the hairdresser and have her cut it and not fucking laugh at me. She'll probably still laugh at me, but because
Yeah.
I'm sure there's fucking cowlick or whatever, the little hair I have left. But yeah, anyway,
Yeah, well,
I
enjoy
digress.
But yeah,
I would you what's an update on how your dick fared after the tick bite? Like was there any swelling?
there was a little bit of redness and sort of tenderness in
Mhm.
that area, but it didn't last but a couple of days.
Yeah, so-
and now I'm strong like bull.
Strong. He's strong. He's strong like bull.
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to hear? Horrific story. You know, log into the All Things Star Wars podcast and listen to
Oh, that was on All Things
the,
Star Wars.
the
wasn't
COVID episode where Jason declares his COVID and also his fucking dick problem
it? Yeah.
or dick tick problem, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One and
Anyway.
the same.
Thanks for bringing it up.
It was, it was terrible. All right, what about you? What's been going on with you in this last
Oh, I
week?
should have clicked this. There you go. There, you get a little something on there.
Yeah.
For me, I'll just say I've been doing some riding. I'm trying to get out on my mountain bike at least 3 days a week. Trying to do a little bit more. Do like between 4 to 6 miles. My fucking ass just hurts. Like even just starting, like I start my ride and my fucking ass like immediately is like, oh, this is gonna suck.
Yeah.
And it just
Yeah,
never,
especially when you're not used to it. You
Yeah.
haven't done it in a while. Oof.
and it's the saddle is built for fucking mountain biking where you're not really on the saddle that much. And people that bike a lot could call their seats saddles for some reason.
Mhm.
I think it's to be elitist, but whatever. It's a fucking, if you want to go buy a fucking bike seat, it's going to be called a saddle, regardless. So I'm going to try and get an upgrade, so it's something with a little bit more cushion for my ass,
Mhm.
so I can get a little bit more miles out. But honestly, I have a mountain bike with fucking road tires on it, and it's only going to get you so far. Like there's going to be a point where the mechanics of you riding the bike you're going to start, you can't do fucking 20 miles on a fucking mountain bike with road tires.
Right.
It's not designed for that. So at some point I'm either going to, I'll just max it out and enjoy it. Or maybe I invest in a road bike some point down the road. Probably not. I think I'm going to try and keep it within the neighborhood type thing.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that and doing some light weights and some push-ups and shit like that, just to do something.
Yeah.
Because honestly, and I think I mentioned something, it might have been in the cantina. I am doing these things so that I can fucking be an asshole and eat what I want and fucking do whatever.
Yeah.
You know, keeping my heart healthy is a big thing because, you know, there's a history of heart issues in my family and I'm already on fucking blood pressure medication. So, you know, getting exercise is going to be good for my heart, good for my circulation, shit like that. I'm going to have a chocolate chip cookie. Chocolate chip cookies are my fucking weakness, man.
Yeah.
You pile a bunch of chocolate. You can't. Chocolate chip cookies are the fucking bomb.
Kristen makes some really good chocolate chip cookies.
You know what?
Like, some fucking
Let's
amazing
fucking
cookies.
sidebar here for a second.
Okay.
One of the things that I've missed since you came back from Mississippi off of the hiatus
Mhm.
is we used to have food here.
Oh, that's true.
We used to eat here before the podcast, and we'd have some of Kristen's deliciousness.
Yeah, she'd always cook for us.
Yeah, and what happened to that?
I mean, we can try to reinstate that. I know it just kind of fell off just because.
Yeah, I
schedules and
think what it was is
unpredictability.
Jason wasn't comfortable with having her woman cook for another man. I think that's really what it was. So I'm just saying, her woman, yeah, pronouns.
Yeah,
Pronouns are a thing. Look for it in
Did
translation.
you just misgender me? How dare you?
Anyway, so the big thing is, I'm trying to keep up with Big Swede with his drone flying.
Man, with
So-
you guys and the fucking drones.
So the drone thing. Thank you, fucking Dutch, aka Vickers, aka Helmet Fire on YouTube. He's been busy with work. He's had a lot of work shit done, so I know he's not flying the drone as much as he wants.
Mhm.
So Big Swede is picking up fucking for him.
Well, yeah, because he just got a new one. What was it, a week and a half ago or so?
Yeah, it's about a week ago.
Yeah, because he had the drone envy, much like I have drone envy
Right.
of you.
And he got the next level up because
Oh, he did.
because that's what you do, fucker. I have the Mavic Mini. He went with the fucking Mavic 2, and he shot some amazing footage while he was up at his grandparents up with Lunar Girl. Spent some time with Lunar Girl up there, looking at flying through the waterfalls and stuff.
Yeah.
And got some great footage. Look for Big Swede's Great Adventure.
That was excellent adventure.
Big Swede's Excellent Adventure. Look for Big Swede's Excellent Adventure. In fact, I think he's in the chat right now. If you linked Big Swede fucking or Haldo Swede or whatever fucking million Swedes you are, link your shit into the fucking into the chat so people can see it. In fact, is all of you do that. All you content creators that are in the fucking chat right now, link your shit in the fucking chat.
Like everybody's a content creator these days.
Yeah, right. So fucking do it. Get your shit in there. So I went and because Big Swede's out there fucking flying around waterfalls and shit. I'm like, well, I gotta go fly it. So on Friday I go out after work. Pretty sure it was Friday. Yeah, Friday or Saturday. I can't fucking remember.
Yeah.
And so I went out and I'm like, well, I don't have fucking waterfalls and shit near me. I think it was Saturday. I don't have waterfalls and shit near me, so I'm gonna fucking go over, like, without crossing the bridge. I'm gonna go over into Camden and fly the drone up by the bridge.
Which was great footage, by the way.
There's so many. I follow all these drone photographers, and they get all these really cool shots of the city, and they get this shot from Camden. Shitty day for it though. Like, I wasn't competing with anybody else flying drones because it was overcast. It just was not a good day. Like a big weather front would just push through it. It just was not a good day to fly.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and had the place to myself. Flew around the Ben Franklin Bridge. Really fucking cool. Go to Philly Dave on Instagram if you want to see shots of that. And then I walked over to the Adventure Aquarium. I drove over to the aquarium. And
it's the big aquarium in Camden, for
and,
those of you that don't know.
Yeah, it's best view of fucking the Philadelphia skyline is from Camden.
Yeah,
it's right there in the aquarium. You got a straight on shot of the whole fucking skyline, Penn's Landing, everything. It's fucking really, really cool.
Is it true about Camden that they're starting to gentrify it and kind of clean it up?
They're trying. It's been an ongoing battle for years. I mean, what's interesting about Camden, like my parents, my father grew up in Camden.
Mm-hmm.
Like went to Woodrow Wilson High School. They lived on 34th Street in Camden, in this big old Victorian, beautiful house.
Yeah.
But Camden, and a lot of that was built around the New York shipbuilding, which produced things as big as aircraft carriers. Like the Kitty Hawk was built right there in Camden.
Yeah. They also had the Campbell's.
Campbell's is still there. Subaru, their national headquarters in the United States, is in Camden. So there's a lot of. It used to be in Cherry Hill, Pennsauken, but they moved their headquarters into Camden, probably for tax breaks, whatever. But yeah, it's not as bad as it used to be. But like any other city, there's places you don't want to be, and some places that you drive relatively fast. So if you're in Camden, you're by the waterfront or at Rutgers, like they have Rutgers University has a campus there. Mm-hmm. You're going to be okay. Like you can park your car and go and you can run over the Ben Franklin Bridge.
Yeah, when my father came down 2 visits ago, we walked the bridge.
Right, and it's a great view. It's a really cool experience. It's a ball buster.
It's fucking long. Yeah. You don't realize it until you get on that bridge and you get about.
Until you're about halfway, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, let's turn around and go back. And you realize how fucking high you are, too. High over the water you are.
Mhm.
because the USS New Jersey is just parked on the fucking river there. It looks tiny as shit.
And my dad's scared of heights too, so.
Oh fuck yeah!
When
That'd
we
be
got
fucking
under the
great.
middle, he wouldn't go anywhere near the edge, even though there's a wall like fucking 30 feet
Oh, there's
high.
a huge wall, and then there's a
He
there's
still wouldn't go near the
tracks
edge.
there for the fucking the Paco line that goes over the bridge.
Yeah, he would stay as far inland
Yeah.
on the walkway as he could get.
I don't blame him. I'm not cool with heights either. That's something that is odd for being somebody who fucking flew in an airplane for a
Yeah,
living.
most of your career.
Yeah, the heights thing came later in life.
Mm.
That when I was like in my early 30s, like suddenly I had a fear of heights.
So would you? So you know how the Sears Tower in Chicago, or I think even the New World Trade Center does this, where they've got the
The
fucking
glass.
overlook and the glass floor. Would
Oh
you
my
do that?
God. So
How much
Yes.
money would it take for you to do
I
that?
would do it because I'll do it once because it's one of those things where if you're there for the experience, then you have to experience it, whatever that experience is going to be,
Mhm.
and you got to push yourself to fucking do it. And this is I'll do that. It'll suck. I'll have my anxiety will be fucking trying to push my heart through my fucking rib cage.
Yeah.
But perfect example. We flew. We had we took the White Jet into fucking New Zealand, right? We were in Auckland for a fucking week. That trip, right? So it was a fucking boondoggle. I'm not gonna lie, it was a fucking great boondoggle. I got to spend fucking 5 nights or 6 nights in Auckland, New Zealand, right? Which American military doesn't get to go there. That's a whole nother fucking.
Yeah,
thing.
they don't like us very much.
Well, it's not that they don't like us. It's the whole thing with the military with the fucking nuclear proliferation. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, so the one night that there was a conference that was being held there, and we were invited to attend the conference, and it was in the fucking tower. Like you look at the Auckland skyline, it's got this like big tower like they have in Seattle, like the Space Needle, like the one they have in Toronto. Really similar. The fucking elevator in this thing was glass bottom.
Ooh.
So, and we had been drinking. So I like stepped onto this fucking elevator, and it's like the elevator shaft was lit, so you could see the entire way you're going up. I'm just like, fuck this. So finally, we got to the top and come out, and now I'm already like, even though I've been drinking everything else, like it's just like, oh my fucking, I'm sweating. Just like, oh fuck you. They're doing this jump. They would jump off the fucking tower with not like bungee jumping. It was like a controlled descent where you free fall, then that would like break you, and then you'd stop like at the ground. Fucking crazy. Bob Kelly, you know Bob Kelly.
Oh yeah.
Like the thing was, there was talk about spending an extra night, which we ended up doing, and we're like, hey, if we spend an extra night, Bob said he was going to do it. He was going to do this fucking jump, which he didn't. It would have been fucking great, but we've had a lot of adventures with Bob. So anyway, there was a fucking glass bottom thing where you could lean over and you fucking basically get the full extent of the fucking fall that you would have. And yeah, I would do that. I would go to the fucking Sears Tower, or whatever. It's not the Sears Tower anymore, right? It's called something else.
Oh, I have no idea. I always thought it was the Sears Tower.
The Hancock Building in Boston, I think, does it. Freedom Tower has something similar. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it once. I will want to rip my fucking chest open, and I'll sweat and do everything else. But it's the experience, you know. Some things it's a once in a lifetime thing. I'll never fucking do that again. As we're on this sidebar, when I realized, like my realization I was starting to have issues with heights was actually on the Space Needle.
Oh really?
We were at Boeing learning how to be maintenance guys on the 757. And they had an air show at Boeing Field. So like they're basically, well, I think it's called Payne Field actually, but it's right there in Renton. And Kathy was in town, like flew her in because we were out there for 3 months. And we went up in the Space Needle. Now there's a restaurant in there. We didn't go to the restaurant. We just went up and did the fucking touristy thing. Yeah. The Blue Angels were fucking using the Space Needles like their pivot to fly around. So we're watching all these fucking jets fly around the Space Needle. Fucking cool as shit. Yeah. I wish I had all the pictures. It was really a cool experience. Fat Albert fucking turning around this. So you got this fucking C-130 flying around Space Needle like super close. That's very, very cool. However, as I was nearing the edge during this, like I started to like feel it. I started to feel that like, holy fuck, I'm not comfortable right now. And like that day, like I was like, we gotta go. Like I want to get out of here. Wow. So we got down, and then from that point forward, I always had an issue with heights. So Yeah, it's interesting. You know what I think it is? I think it's your mortality starts to hit you. When you get into your 30s, the late 20s, early 30s, where we, having kids and family and the whole bit, like you get to a point where it's like, okay, there's repercussions if I die. You know what I mean? Like that mortality, like it really starts to play into some of your decision making. I did crazy shit when I was a kid, jumping off fucking bridges, like all kinds of shit.
Yeah, and when pre-kids or anything else, you die, it's like, oh, your family's gonna be sad. Your buddies will be like, fuck,
whatever.
He lived rough, but
That's right. He treated his body like a fucking amusement park.
Yeah, nobody's gonna be like too terribly traumatized or devastated.
Right, you'll get over
until you start having kids, right?
And then you have there's a reason and there's repercussions.
Yeah,
and it's not even that. It's just like the thought of like, wow, the fall won't kill me. It's the sudden stop at the end that'll fucking kill you. So.
Yeah. But you still get that few seconds to think about it before.
Yeah.
Which that's got to be the worst part.
And you start thinking about that too in fucking airplanes. When you're flying in airplanes for a living, there gets to a point where you're in some serious shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is so. If we're gonna go right now, I'm gonna have this long to think about it before I fucking impact the ground at ridiculous speeds.
Well, and again, we're sidebarception here. But the time that became the most real to me was when I started doing some more research on the TWA 800.
Oh, yeah.
Because for that one, the fucking cockpit blows off the plane and it keeps flying for quite a while until it eventually plunges into the ocean. So a lot of those people were conscious and alive while that fucking thing was plummeting to its doom.
We could get into the sidebarception. If we decided to fucking go there, which we won't.
Yeah.
I don't even know how we got there.
Yeah, I have no idea. Oh yeah, so yeah.
Drone flying. That started with drone flying and then we fucking got into dying in airplanes. Excuse me. I'm so sick of working from home. I really am. Today was another day where I was just like, it would have been a great day to fucking go over to Nick's desk and fucking bullshit about what the drone flying and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the shop's TDY, there are some issues that, I had things to do, but it was just one of those days where it's like, I'm sitting in front of a computer doing, I'm basically sitting here spending my life on these fucking screens, which I've really made a concerted effort to unplug over the weekends. Like, stay off my phone to the best of my ability, stay away from fucking screens, even when I'm not playing video games or anything else. It's a good idea. The screen time every day is just fucking ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Even with glasses, and I have an issue with migraines and things like that. So really watching my screen time, and it just fucking sucks out. I'm done. I'm good. I want to be able to fucking, when somebody's doing something stupid, I want to be able to stand in front of them and say, like, you're doing something stupid.
You're an idiot.
Like, I want you to look me in the face and tell me that what you're doing is actually fucking reasonable and correct, because you're an idiot, which I want to do so badly. So, yeah, unplugging from the screen. I actually watched the Flyers game last night, which they won 1-0. They're up in the series 2-1.
No crowd again?
No, that's not going to happen this year.
Yeah.
There won't be any crowds. They're in the fucking bubble up, and there's apparently two bubbles, which I found out last night. There's a West Coast bubble and an East Coast one. So the East Coast one's in Toronto, home of Tony Ferrari, who we'll talk about in a second, and the West Coast one's in Vancouver, I believe. So because they had fucking the hockey playoff game was starting at 10:30 at fucking night. Like, you're out of your fucking minds. Fuck the West Coast. I'd
be asleep for an hour already.
Yeah, that's like, no, don't. I'm not that interested in hockey.
Yeah.
But it was. I think we talked about it last week. I'm not going to dwell on it, but it was good. It was good, nice to sit there and watch fucking sports.
Yeah.
Even if it was only for a couple hours.
Makes you feel somewhat normal.
Yeah. So, before I get off the hockey, I wanted to mention our Tony Ferrari, who is a supporter of the All Things Star Wars podcast.
Yep.
I'm sure he's
been with us from the very beginning.
Yeah, I'm sure he's supporting this, but he's also doing his own venture. Tony Ferrari is our Canadian contingent.
Yes.
He's the representative on our flag football, fantasy football.
Blame Canada.
And as our resident Canadian, he is also a fucking hockey expert, and he has a podcast. that he's doing with another. He's a scout for one of I think the European hockey, like the European hockey scout.
Sweet.
I listened to some of it today. Way more hockey than I'm fucking knowledgeable of. If it's not fucking having to do really with the Flyers, then I'm like, I'm just not there. But you can find the Dobbins Draftcast.
Dobbins Draftcast.
Yeah. So if you're into the NHL and you're looking to get some insider information about the draft and things like that, subscribe to Dobbins Draftcast. Support our Canadian contingent.
Yes.
And
Tony's a good guy.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. But talking about unplugging, having some normalcy, the wife and I, we went to Barnes and Noble on Saturday.
Really?
Just like let's do something. Let's do something that like would be normal for us to just go do on a random day. So we went and kicked around Barnes and Noble. Very little people out. Although there was a lot of people out and about shopping and stuff because this is near the Deptford Mall complex. So the mall complex actually had a lot of activity in it.
Yeah.
Kathy bounced into the fucking Christmas tree shop and did some stuff there. There was a bit of a line there. She had to return. Dude.
Do you get like PTSD when you think about like Christmas
I don't go in there. I don't fucking go in there. I just don't.
Would you get PTSD if you did go in there?
That's a conversation for another time. But we had bought hand sanitizer, and it was some of the hand sanitizer. There was a bunch of it that came from Mexico that had all that
the recall,
all the recall
and shit.
We had 5 bottles of that stuff that we ended up having to return, and everyone took it. Like we bought some at ShopRite, some at Christmas Tree Shop, whatever. It was like that Blue Men one. Dude, everybody and their brother was fucking churning out fucking hand sanitizer.
Oh yeah.
Check see where it fucking came from. Check against the fucking FDA's approved list because you could be fucking rubbing poison on your hands, touching your food, eating that shit. Anyway, went to Barnes and Noble, walked in there, and the latest in the Alphabet Squadron Star Wars book was on the shelf.
Oh shit.
It is called Shadowfall.
Right.
And so on the Star Wars podcast, we I don't think did we cover.
We didn't because I've never listened.
Yeah,
to
you didn't. One. So you didn't know the first book in the Alphabet Squadron. This is the second book. I started it. It's tough to listen to an audiobook and still like concentrate on work and do all the other nonsense that I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's drive material, and since I'm not driving, it's a little bit harder. But I'm gonna listen to it. We've got Squadrons coming out. For our Star Wars fans that are still listening to us now, we got Squadrons coming out in October.
Yep.
So I'm frothing at the mouth for fucking to be able to fly a TIE fighter. You have no idea. But saw the book on there, realized I had pre-ordered it in an audio book, and fucking boom, there it was. So if you're following the Star Wars books, Shadowfall is out now, and then the third book in the series has actually been the date for release is March of 2021.
God damn, they're just turning these things out.
Yeah, so good Star Wars content out there. That's all I'm going to say about that. I did walk out of Barnes & Noble with a book.
Yeah.
It was, you go over to one side of Barnes & Noble and have all the fucking markdown books, right?
Oh, yeah, the clearance shit.
Yeah, so walking through there, and there was a couple interesting things. And I'm a NASA nerd and a history nerd, and there was a book there. It's called American Moonshot: JFK and the Great Space Race.
Ooh.
It was put out as like the 50th anniversary of the moon landing.
Mm-hmm.
They put it out last year. So this year it was $8. Big thick hardcover book with pictures and all that other shit.
Nice.
$8. So I started reading.
Which was probably like $39.99.
Oh, it was $35 retail.
Perfect. Yeah.
So I started going through it. I'm like, you know what? Fuck, it's $8, and I'll put it away in a couple days. Which I read a lot of it on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But really neat stuff about it. Starts with like Kennedy in his youth, and then like how him and von Braun and some of the other engineering, Dr. Goddard, who did some of the initial rocketeering in the United States, like all the timelines and where they all kind of converge into the fucking Apollo space program, and Kennedy as president, and making in 1961 making the
declaration.
The declaration.
We will put a man on the moon.
That wasn't bad. by the end of the decade, you got to finish.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So neat stuff. I like having a book in my hand and reading it. I go in phases for that. This is one of those where I don't really want to read fiction right now. Like, for whatever reason, it's like the real world is crazy enough right now. I'd rather read something fucking historical or read something about the past that, whatever, I can draw my own conclusions about, as opposed to the fucking shit show that is reality right now.
Yeah, I know, right?
So that is it. Ivo G. There you go.
You still with us?
It was a good long fucking week. I know you've been disappointed in the past couple of weeks. We haven't had long, because we are talking about the television today.
Yeah.
For real, Joe. Even though we've been going for like an hour.
Yeah, I know. Well, what can you do? That's our show. If you're not used to it at this point,
right,
buckle up, because shit ain't getting any different.
Yeah.
So yeah, the television. I mean, we talked about the evolution of the phone.
You don't have to take a pee
movies. Break? I'm good for now.
All right.
You have to take a pee break?
Not yet.
All right. I mean, we can break whenever the fuck we want. It's our show, man.
It's our show, bitches.
We can do whatever the fuck we want. So
indeed,
if we want to stop mid-thought to go outside and take a piss, we can do that. That's our prerogative.
Yes, and we have done that.
We can do what we want to do.
Your friends dancing. Kind of cut
way that I want to live.
All right.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah, television. So obviously we were going to talk about the TV, and I think today we're going to focus mostly on the physical televisions themselves.
Right.
I think that's going to be the primary focus, but also some of that television viewing experience, early cable, the rabbit ears, things like that. So that is the main topic today, and let's just get right into it. So I wanted to start off by talking about this article that I found as I'm doing my research. It's talking about like the TV viewing habits of Gen Xers, and you highlighted something very interesting.
Yeah, so the article was written almost like it was a marketing article for people that are generating content.
Yes.
So it was for people that are making advertising and doing things like that, specifically for social media.
Yeah.
And
it didn't just talk about Gen X. It broke down all of the different generations, the millennials and the boomers, and
everybody that would potentially have access to it. But there was a good part about the Gen Xers that the one thing that I took away from it is how the Gen Xers are going to YouTube for nostalgia.
Yeah.
And that struck me, and that entire thing was a good article.
Mm.
But in the entirety of that thing, is like that hit the mark the closest.
And you know what? So I posted a link to this in our private Facebook group earlier today, I believe it was.
Right.
This was years ago on my YouTube channel. You know how you can make your own fucking playlists and shit like that?
Mm-hmm.
Like 4 or 5 years ago, I created a playlist on my YouTube channel. I think it was the first one I ever created, called Nostalgia. The first video from that I ever put on there was the old 1980s, early 1980s HBO feature presentation fucking intro,
right?
Which again I posted into.
You can hear the fucking the music for it.
Oh yeah, like you see it if you grew up during the fucking 80s when we did, and you had HBO on Friday nights. That fucking feature presentation thing. It started off with a little miniature fucking model of the city as the camera pans up and into the sky, and then it's the fucking HBO logo, and it's just fucking beautiful.
And it honestly, I think the music is what stayed steadiest about that. The imagery changed, but it was always the same sound.
Yeah.
Like it could be on in the living room, and then you hear it in the kitchen and be like, okay, it's fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
It's go time.
Yeah. And the funny thing about that is, for me, growing up, we didn't have HBO.
Right.
But I had sleepovers with a lot of people. Like my best friend, Robert, growing up, his family had HBO. My grandparents had HBO at their house. So when I would have sleepovers on Friday nights, you go the whole fucking week at school, Friday night, oh, yes, I'm going to get to have a fucking sleepover with my buddy or with my fucking grandparents or whatever. And whatever that feature movie was on that Friday night, that fucking HBO fanfare came on with the music and everything else. And it was just like, again, if you grew up with that music just fucking hits you perfectly.
Yeah, and that nostalgia bit, the article went on to talk about how we go to YouTube to like not only to find out how to do things like the DIY stuff, but
that's really helpful.
Yeah, we're going to YouTube to be like, hey, there was a intro song to something like the HBO thing, or oh fuck, I can't remember the fucking broad's name for You Can't Do That on Television. Fucking there you go. It's on fucking YouTube, and it's there for your viewing pleasure. Yeah. And absolutely, we are. I think as Gen Xers, us in particular, like, so this is our point of view, right?
Mhm.
And for the television experience, I think in particular, when we look back at the nostalgia, it's those little things that we see now that it's almost like, at least I do this. It's like, okay, I see a toy or I see a commercial for something that's out now.
Mhm.
It's like, this is a fucking Gen Xer that made this, because you can tell that they're marketing towards kids, but at the same time, it's because they fucking loved it.
Oh yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, but there was a period about 10 years ago or so where they were rehashing everything that was big when we were kids. Fucking Transformers was coming back in a big way. Fucking, I think they were making like a new series of G.I. Joes,
Mhm.
Star Wars, obviously. And they were marketing it to kids that were exactly my kids' fucking age when I was big into that stuff. And there's
Yeah.
no fucking way that wasn't a coincidence.
No.
There's no fucking way that they were like, oh, the Gen Xers, the fucking kids that grew up with these fucking Transformer toys and everything, they've got kids right now that are that perfect fucking age. We're bringing it all back, baby.
None of it's random.
Yeah.
None of it's random. Like, when you're suddenly seeing Garbage Pail Kids show up in something,
Yes.
like you see an advertisement for something that has Garbage Pail Kids, and you're like, there's no fucking way that kid wasn't fucking 9-10 years old,
Yeah.
going and collecting Garbage Pail Kids, fucking stickers and sticking them on shit.
Oh my
Like,
God.
That has to come from the fucking mind of a Gen Xer.
Mhm.
And they're running this marketing. And the point of this article, and I think as we're talking about marketing in general, like with the television,
Mhm.
like, yeah, we want you to play on that nostalgia. We want to make a bunch of fucking Star Wars shit that a 40-plus-year-old man is going to buy because he played with those Star Wars toys. It might not be the same exact toys, but these Black Series figures, we've talked about this before on the other podcast. These Black Series figures are not for fucking children.
No.
There's no fucking way. If you're rich enough where you're buying Black Series for your fucking kids and you're letting them go out there and play with them and fucking throw them in the dirt and shit like that, I wish I had your money.
Yeah, and you know what? I would not be surprised if there's a lot of people out there that do that exact thing.
But if you're like, this is where too, see you, Don. This is the point where Big Swede, from Big Swede's fucking Excellent Adventure,
Mhm.
and his mail call today, I get this constant stream of like, this is what awesomeness I got in the mail fucking today. Right. And you know what? Haldo Swede, you know what? Eat a dick. God damn it. Eat all the dicks.
So we're getting a little off topic here. We're still talking about the television.
This is true. It is.
But yeah, this article was talking about the current TV viewing of Gen Xers, talking about things like Netflix and all that shit.
Yeah.
And then it talked about YouTube and how we watch YouTube for a lot of nostalgia, which is correct because so much of our upbringing was tied to this shit that we watched on TV
Mhm.
and the way that we experienced it. So we've got two different branching lines of thought. The televisions themselves and like the cable services and the other ways. Things like VCRs, DVD players, that's all going to be content for another episode.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll breeze over any actual like home movie viewing content.
Yeah, but I think we can all talk about your black and white TV.
Yeah, because that's where it started.
Yeah, we had black and white televisions. This is the last generation that's going to be able to say that we had black and white televisions.
Yeah.
And that was you were thankful to have it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you were able to watch my first viewing of fucking Thundercats and G.I. Joe and that was on a fucking black and white TV.
Yeah.
Because we had a color television set as the main television set in the house.
Yeah.
Which we're
and that's a whole other story
Yeah.
in itself, like the family TV.
Right. But in my room, when I was allowed to have a TV in my room, it was a black and white TV set with fucking rabbit ears as fucking long out as I could fucking get them.
Exact same for me.
So I could get a UHF channel and be able to watch fucking cartoons.
Yeah, because 1 year for my birthday, I think I was like 7 or 8, my grandmother bought me a black and white TV. Little like fucking 15-inch gimmick, but I was more than happy to have it.
Yeah.
It was great, and it had the rabbit ears also.
Yep. 13-inch TV that it made sounds and it fucking showed you a fucking image of the cartoons and you loved it, especially if you could have it in your fucking room. That was big.
Mm-hmm.
Big being able to watch TV in your fucking room.
Yeah, because back in the day, typically most families had the TV.
Right.
There wasn't like your TV, my TV, the TV in this room, the
Right.
TV in that room. There was the one TV in the house, and whatever was on it is what was on it.
That's right. That's what you're watching at 7 o'clock. At 7 o'clock at night, between 7 and 8 o'clock at night in our household, fucking Jeopardy followed by Wheel of Fortune was on in the house.
Nice.
That's what was on in my house. Like, so there was no watching something else. There's no like, hey, can we play video games? No, fucking Jeopardy was on at 7 o'clock. And then at 7:30, it was the, hey, let's guess what color Vanna's wearing. And we played that game and then fucking watched Wheel of Fortune until 8 o'clock. That's how it was. And then it was time for bed.
Yeah.
But a lot of sitting through Jeopardy, though, during those times when that's what you did. The family sat in the room and watched television. I learned a lot of fucking stupid shit watching Jeopardy as a fucking child. And I know Fred Martin's in there. He's talking about how we had shows that were only in black and white.
Yeah. Oh, and Bronco Fett brings up a really good point. No remote controls in the early days. Well, with one caveat. As youngsters, we were the remote control.
We were the remote control.
Yeah, so sometimes our parents would be like, hey, change it to channel 6.
This is a related sidebar, but we were talking about this in the old rabbit ears, right? So we had, on the main set, we had this rabbit ear, it was wires that went up behind the television and spread out across the living room. So we had the best possible reception for what we're going to get in the house. But if you were anywhere else, like, okay, hey, go over and adjust the rabbit ears. And you realize that as human beings, you start learning about
conductive.
Yeah, you start learning about conductivity and shit like that because you go over and you fucking hold the rabbit ear and oh shit, here's fucking I can see Skeletor plain as day. And I'm like, okay, perfect. I let go of it. Broop, TV goes. It goes to shit. Fucking it's all static again. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. So you learn real quickly that hey, you as a human being, you are a fucking antenna.
Oh, and we did some real redneck shit in my house too. Like it was mostly me when I got the black and white TV in my room. First of all, did you ever have an instance where like the rabbit ears broke or you lost them and you had to do like a fucking redneck rabbit ears, which basically you take a wire coat hanger when you weren't getting your ass beat with it and you'd unfurl it and everything and you'd connect it to the fucking little
metal wire coat hangers were. It is a multi-tool. It can hold up a muffler, it can give a kid an ass whooping, and it can fucking make the television reception better. Yeah. All of the above.
Yeah.
You can augment the actual rabbit ears with fucking, which I'm almost 100% sure that's exactly what I did at one point. Was I took the end of the fucking antenna, took that off, put the fucking coat hanger in that end so that I can extend it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, fuck, it works brilliantly until I let go, and then fucking, oh yeah, wait, no, I am conductive.
Yeah.
It was the black and white television experience, and the fact that small screens, like,
oh yeah,
like you said, 13-inch, 15-inch, it was probably 13-inch because TVs were standard sizes back then.
That is
like
true.
The television sets themselves. Like you didn't have like these odd sizes, like. You could go into somebody's house and look at their TV and say, "Oh, that's a 27-inch set," right? And then you'd be able to incrementally go back to, fuck my. I've seen them this big, some of the television you get where the fucking black and white screens.
Oh, like I remember. But the rest of the TV, the rest of the box was like real fucking bulky, but you had that little fucking screen.
Portable.
Right. Because we're still in the 80s right now talking about TV.
We had heavy ass fucking CRT, big tubes that were producing this. That fucking hummed. Holy shit, did they hum? Like when you just that sound of when you turned on the television and the electrons started fucking getting all spun up and everything else, and the TV coming to life. That's something you don't have now. It's basically instant on when you turn on fucking television.
Yeah. Back in the day, you'd start off with a little light in the middle and then.
Yeah, all the fucking electrons start bouncing around. The miracle of fucking television starts happening, and then you get the fucking picture. And late in those days, when you still had the fucking CRT set, and you were kind of milking it out to the point where like, okay, you don't need a new television. When you get the fucking color band that would go out.
Oh no!
Or you have a fucking one of the colors is out in the fucking CRT, so now you're watching it basically like it's black and white, except the fucking red's gone. Yeah. There's no red. So now it's just fucking like, okay, it's just, GB.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say that to say the experience that we had for black and white television, I think, made us super, like, by having that, we appreciate where we're at so much more.
Oh, yeah. Like when HD TVs came out in the early 2000s, I was amazed. This was me as a fucking, 20 something, almost 30-year-old
Yeah.
man. I'm looking at these HD TVs in like 2000. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, like when plasmas were coming out, like you had flat screen, high definition television, or you had like those monsters that we had in the fucking alert rooms. There were like 37-inch fucking flat screen. 37-inch flat screen fucking Sonys yeah, it was a CRT, but the front of it was flat. And it was like fucking, the picture was amazing on it. Like when you could get a picture. And when you had a fucking source, because the base was notorious for the cable not working, and there's no reception.
Yeah.
Like, because you're in the middle of fucking nowhere. So now it became an expensive way to play your fucking PlayStation 1.
Right.
Which is, I'd sit on alert and do.
Now, do you remember the days of having 2 dials on the TV? First of all, there was no just like clicking up and down and having a little fucking number. No, you had these hard fucking physical dials. And you wouldn't just have one, you'd have 2. You'd have the 13 channels on your VHF, and then you had like the fucking 63 channels on your UHF dial.
Yeah. And then in on that dial, it had like a little fucking rheostat.
Oh, yeah, to get your micro adjustment.
To feel like you're actually doing something, when I don't think it really did anything. I feel like that didn't have anything behind it.
Yeah.
But it gave you the illusion of like, oh, I'm going to really make this picture sharp after I fucking get. I remember on my television, I had to go like halfway in between 2 channels to fucking make it go. And so you're standing there like holding it, don't. Okay, good. Just all right. Nobody move, because it's gonna go between fucking Saturday morning cartoons. You're fucking it's gonna go from fucking channel 10 to channel 11. I'm gonna lose it. No.
Yeah, if somebody bumps the TV, just goes plunk,
and it goes into its fucking detent. I know for us, with the 2 dials, it made you. Again, it's a level of appreciation that why does the major networks exist? Like for me, this is a Philadelphia area, and this is how I put it in notes, because I'm sure in California it was completely different.
Yeah, especially in Bakersfield, which we didn't have a whole lot.
So we had 3, 6, and 10. Those were the major networks.
Yeah, your ABC, NBC.
Yeah, Channel 3 was NBC. Channel 6 was ABC, which it still is today. And then Channel 10 was your CBS. And those were the major network channels. And those were the ones that, like, in Philadelphia, like being like growing up in the Philadelphia suburbs, that you were getting the local broadcast and the national broadcast from those 3 channels.
Yeah.
You could probably fucking, you could probably take a glass bottle and use it as an antenna, and you get 3, 6, and 10 in this area. It's just the nature of how it works.
Well, yeah, because you're so close to the city and everything.
Yeah, it's just pouring that RF out. Like that big antenna farm that's out past Manioc. Like if you go, it's out at Conshohocken. Like if you, Jason doesn't go anywhere in this state, honestly, or Pennsylvania. But if you're driving anywhere in here in New Jersey where you get to a little bit of elevation, you start looking at the Philly skyline, behind it you see a bunch of fucking antennas.
Okay.
That's the huge antenna farm where almost everything came out of, except for one of the radio stations was on the PSFS building. I think it was 93.3 was on the PSFS building, but radio is a whole other thing.
Yeah, well, say that for another episode.
So we had 3, 6, and 10, and that was the big ones. And then we had Channel 12 was PBS for us.
Oh, right.
So Channel 12 was like our allusion in the beginning of the podcast to Sesame Street and shit like that.
Yeah.
That was Channel 12. That was Channel 12. For cartoons, it was between 17 and 57. So you got into the UHF dial, and you really had to go and really, really try and get in between there to fucking get a good signal where you're getting like your afternoon cartoons.
Yeah. Because
that's what it was on. In New Jersey, at least, 29, which is Fox even to this day, like 29 came late. And the broadcasting I had on it was mostly like reruns and shit like that. But when you got into the UHF channel, that was the off-brand shit, right? That was the reruns of fucking Beverly Hillbillies and fucking the Munsters and shit like that. You were getting all that, and like Rick said in the chat, those were the black and white shows that we were fucking watching.
Right.
When you could catch Gilligan's Island in color, when you realize, oh fuck, Gilligan's Island's in color. Yeah. Holy shit! When you actually get to see it on the fucking big TV as opposed to the fucking black and white.
So, at what point, in your recollection, did your family actually get some sort of cable TV service?
We had it really early.
Because I remember getting it pretty early because we got cable, at least like the most basic version of cable. This was probably like 84, because I remember MTV. Right. I remember MTV being 13 on the little push button box.
Yeah, it was 34 for us.
Okay. And like that was it. Like I was all in. We've already talked about my love of music and MTV and everything else.
So the Gerald box, the black plastic box with the fake wood inlay, that had the 3 levels and it had the going across. I couldn't tell you. It was, we had that early enough where I couldn't tell you exactly when we got it. That's the cable box that I remember. The Keith Lehman, host of Layman's Terms, find it on Facebook, I think, or YouTube, I forget. We watched it on Facebook. Anyway, they had a different box. It had like a dial on it.
Right.
It was like a different kind of cable box.
And I posted in the private Facebook group the push button box that we had.
That's the Gerald box, as I call it. And we had back in the day, when cable was going out over the fucking wires, we lived on a dead end street, right? Mm-hmm. Which was glorious as a kid growing up, because you could fucking go out and play on a dead end street, not informed about traffic. The fucking woods was right there. We talked about how you didn't have woods to grow up in. And fucking
we had desert and fields.
Yeah, so you're not going out there and playing in that on purpose. So fucking Joshua.
Well, we still did
go climb Joshua trees to fucking entertain.
Oh, I've got a story where I ended up getting stitches because me and my buddy were out playing in the field and like I hurt my head and whatever. Story for another time.
Anyway, because when they were running a cable, it kind of terminated out there. Well, my dad, like electrical engineering background and everything else like that, and had no fear of going and I can't say how we got it. All I can say is that we had cable.
Right.
We had the Gerald box. We had a lot of fucking channels that who knows? I'm not here to speculate. It's not like we got all the pay-per-view shit when that started coming out for free. But the Gerald box in particular, like it was a sad day in our house because a lot of the channels that we had at that point, when we had to go to a digital box, went away.
Right.
But yeah, the Gerald box was that first box. And I couldn't even tell you what it came out of because it had a long ass cord. We're still dealing with fucking corded remotes.
Yeah, and that's really what it was. It was more of a remote control than a fucking cable box.
Yeah, I can't even remember what the box that thing plugged into looked like.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you.
I just remember what that set top looked like with the fucking, the 13 push buttons and the different layers, and like I distinctly remember that, and I distinctly remember that noise when you would push the button and it would snap. The switch would snap and everything else, and the channel would change. But yeah, that's my earliest memory of having cable. It was about 84 when we got that, because I remember MTV was still in its infancy. I think it came out in 83 is when it started. We got cable in 84. This was, I remember the Van Halen album, 1984, when that was big, and all of the fucking music videos, Jump and Panama and all that. Those were the big fucking music videos on MTV at the time when we got cable.
Big hair bands and like everything was in its
It was almost a precursor to that. This was pre, Motley Crue and fucking Poison. That's and true,
all that. Because Van Halen started early enough where it was.
Yeah, this is early 80s. This is like Sunglasses at Night, fucking Take On Me, all those fucking songs. Yeah. This was before the late 80s when it was your Poisons and your Motley Crue and all of ththose guys.
See, and that's that I stopped. Well, MTV is going to have its own. We have.
Oh yeah. That's an episode in itself.
Like just the music upbringings, but yeah, getting cable television and having access to shit like that was huge. I've been on record as already saying I was never a big MTV guy. Like it wasn't my go-to, except for like when Beavis and Butthead was on.
Right. But then we're getting into the 90s.
Yeah, you start getting in the late when I could fucking really comprehend that as a kid, but. I honestly, I couldn't tell you, aside from fucking cartoons, I couldn't tell you what I watched on television. Besides fucking Jeopardy and cartoons. That's it.
Well, yeah, and that's what it was for me, especially in the early 80s. It was, like you said, the G.I. Joe and the Thundercats, and Transformers, fucking Silverhawks, if you were into that, fucking Mask, and
Mask was in color though. That was
Oh
definitely
yeah,
later.
well, and that was the thing. It was about the mid '80s, that '84, '85 time frame when we actually got a color TV. You know, it was amazing, and we had color TVs ever since for the family TV. For my personal TV, I started with black and white, but
Right.
yeah, for the family.
I remember for Christmas, I'm trying to think of what Christmas it was, but one of my big gifts was this 13-inch Magnavox color television that I
Nice.
had for my room. And what was brilliant about it was it had a BNC connection for the fucking cable. You could plug cable right into it, like
Right,
directly.
coaxial cable.
Coaxial cable, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that was the thing. Like cable back in those days, it wasn't. You didn't have to have a set-top box, you only had to have one
Right.
coming into the house. And then if you had a dad who was fucking into making his own cable fucking lines and everything else, he would then branch off from that into the rest of the house to fucking have cable wherever. And one of those places happened to be in my bedroom, which at that point I had been moved into the attic. So that was, oh fuck, I don't even know. I'd have to sit down and write down all these fucking timelines.
Yeah.
But I still have that fucking television.
Do you?
I have that same Magnavox.
Oh,
And it
that's awesome.
fucking worked like a champ, even when we moved into our house in Runnymede.
Yeah.
Because that Florida room in the back, we turned that into like a tiki bar, and
That's great.
I bought one of those stands to put it up in the like a TV stand that you would hang on the side of the wall.
Sure.
I put that up in the corner, and that was my original fucking 13-inch Magnavox, my first color television, my first personal color television,
Yeah.
and that thing went everywhere with me. I brought it to fucking Keesler with me
Did you?
when I PCS. Yeah, that was the television that we had a VCR hooked up to it.
Oh man.
That was the television I watched the fucking Flyers lose the fucking Stanley Cup to when I was in Keesler
Yeah.
the first time.
So you make a good point about the different types of connectors into these TVs, because again, early '80s to even mid to late '80s, a lot of TVs only had those fucking little the U's. Right, you had the two U's that had to fucking screw in.
The two Utes.
Oh my god, we just watched My Cousin Vinny yesterday.
Did you really?
Yeah.
So you saw Top Gun and My Cousin Vinny like in the same day?
Within like the last 4 days.
That's
it's
really
fucking great. Anyway,
Rainy days are good like that.
yeah, and you used to have to get adapters for that kind of shit. When I got my first Nintendo Entertainment System in the mid '80s,
Yeah.
it had the AV and it had the fucking coaxial, but my fucking black and white TV only had the two U's.
You had to have
So
the
you had to
adapter.
get that adapter, right? And I remember even with cable, we had to get this little fucking adapter that went from the 2 to a coaxial, like an adapter for that. So
I guarantee you that I could probably go to my parents' house and get and find a half a dozen of those adapters.
you think so?
Still in the house today. Absolutely.
No shit.
I definitely.
Oh my god,
My dad had bench stock. I mean, he had bench stock for shit like that. So that's how we grew up. Like, oh hey, we need to build something like. So we had everything you could possibly need to fucking build shit like that.
You have to get one of those, and you have to bring it to the studio.
I should do that. That would
Yeah.
be really funny. We'll find a Nintendo to fucking, or no, we'll fucking hook it up to like the ColecoVision or something.
Oh yes. So, and that's the other thing. The things like the RGB fucking adapters or whatever, the AV adapters,
Right.
the
red and white.
red, white, and yellow.
Right. Yellow is
That-
video, red and white's the sound.
That shit wasn't prolific until like the mid to late '90s.
That shit was modern. In my brain, in my fucking dumb brain, I look at that and still think of that as the standard.
Yeah.
Like there's a part of me that looks and when what gaming system did I get? I think it was the Wii.
Mhm.
The Wii came with the fucking extra cords that had like the individual colors to plug into.
Yeah.
Like so, because some televisions had like you could plug in individual colors to make the fucking the gaming thing that
Yeah,
much
even-
better.
Yeah. Even the first HD TVs, yeah, they had the red,
like-
yellow, and white, but then they had the green and
Yeah,
the
it was-
other fucking white.
Yeah, it was green, blue.
But that was pre HDMI, so that was
Right.
even the first HD TVs used that same technology to give you that fucking
Right,
HD
because
picture.
there was a time when we went from these CRT televisions and the next major jump from a CRT was a projection.
Mm.
You had these rear projection screens, and that's how people were getting like big TVs. I remember
Yeah.
going, I forget whose house it was, but going in and watching an Eagles game
Mm.
at this rear projection fucking television. It seemed enormous to me.
Oh yeah.
Because it was like 40 plus inches of like the lighting had like any light that came in that fucking room ruined. But if you could fucking get that room dark enough, man, that picture was fucking amazing because it was so big.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how sharp it was, but it was definitely big.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I think, the connections that most of the TVs were making in those for the projectors was that fucking the green, the blue, that fucking additional cable.
Yeah.
In my mind, I never had anything that used that cable. I went from fucking red and white for sound, yellow for video to HDMI basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And I was kind of in the same boat. But yeah, the yellow, white, and red, that really didn't become standard until at least the mid-90s,
Which is crazy.
Because for the most part, we were still using coaxial for everything.
Yeah.
Your fucking Nintendo, your Super Nintendo, they all had to have that fucking coaxial adapter. Even the early NESs, which my first fucking NES over there, I think it has the fucking the white and the yellow connectors on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was designed for that, but not many TVs supported it.
The Japanese were making sets probably that would use that, but in the States, it wasn't prolific enough to fucking make sense.
Yeah.
Because back in those days, you know, there's a note in here when we talk about like, okay, channel 3 was the dedicated channel, right?
Oh yeah, we haven't even gotten into that.
And that little box that you had, it fucking wired into that adapter. You had channel 3, or was it channel 3 or channel 4?
Right. Yeah. If you had the Atari and that little fucking adapter, it had a switch, right?
Yeah, a little slider on there.
Channel 2 or channel 3, depending on what you selected.
Which you needed that here because with early gaming systems, the RF was strong enough for fucking channel 3 that it would bleed into the fucking game.
Right.
Even though it was plugged directly into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like an inline adapter. So you still were getting the feed.
Oh yeah.
From the like you're still getting the feed from the antenna. You weren't shutting that off. You were just putting something in line with that. It's almost like early days of Sirius XM where you're like plugging something in line with the fucking car antenna. So it was like broadcasting over that. That was how you're getting like sound, like additional sound through your radio,
right?
Before all the fucking plug and play shit you got now. But yeah, I distinctly remember having to you had to go to channel 4 because otherwise you get it would be fucked up. You get like fucking squiggly lines and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you turned on, like God forbid you turned on the fucking system, like if the Nintendo was turned on and you wanted to watch channel 3, you couldn't fucking watch it. Right. Even if it was on channel 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like, all right, fuck. Oh shit, the Nintendo's still on. You have to unplug it or power it off.
Oh yeah, and go ahead.
It just makes me. This is what we're talking about. The appreciation for these things is where knowing these things, having that nostalgia, and makes us fucking appreciate what we're gonna get into with HDTVs and fucking streaming experience and everything else. Which for us, that's probably the hardest part. Like as Gen Xers, we're like we have all of this muscle memory for all the shit that happened in our past or what we grew up with, and our kids aren't going to have that.
They have no knowledge of it whatsoever.
My kids will probably be able to tell you like the Game Boy Advance was like one of the first things that they had, like for their portable gaming experience. They probably talk about.
When they do the From a Millennial Point of View podcast, their first memories start with the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think I showed it in the canteen. I took a picture. Like I had my original Game Boy with the Game Boy Pocket, which I was playing Mario Land with the other day. Which I'll be honest, I got to a point where I was like, I'm either going to fucking stay up all night and finish this. There's no memory. Like once you shut the machine off, it was it.
Yeah.
Like so you had to play. If you're gonna beat it, you had to play it all the way through and hope you had fucking enough battery power.
Unless you're playing a game that did have that battery backup, like we talked about. Or
Super Mario Land was not one of those games. So yeah, I was like, I gave up on it. But the Pocket worked, and I pulled out the Game Boy Advance, which was my son Jeff's. It still has the Spider-Man stickers and everything else on it. Nice. And that way you could play those games. That was the last system that you could play the old Game Boy cartridge games in, because the Game Boy the Game Boy Advance was the last one, because once you got into the DS's, it would take Game Boy Advance games,
but not the original Game Boy.
Not the original Game Boy games.
Yeah.
So yeah, I keep one of those. I have a charging cable for it.
Oh yeah,
so.
me too. I've got the Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy Advance SP, which was like a
Yeah,
flip.
the flip.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I'm
got-
talking about with Jess.
Yeah.
We have a Game Boy Advance, kind of the handheld. Looks like the TurboGrafx.
But they didn't have
handheld.
the they didn't have the backlit screens on those
They
ones.
did not.
Yeah, but the
that
Advanced
one,
SPs did.
that one, the batteries got left in it over the years, and it's all prolific through a thing. The motherboard's probably melted out of it. So
Probably.
really, it's just a husk right now.
All right, so let's finish up the late 80s and early 90s. So
Okay.
we had this massive transition to coaxial, right?
Mhm.
Like everything was coaxial. Cable was through coaxial. Some people got cable boxes during this time. My family was never a cable box family. You had more access to a few more channels, and you also had access to pay-per-view if you got the cable box. But my family never got that. It was strictly channels 1 through I don't remember, like through 49 in the late 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but if you got a cable box, then you had a little fucking push button like dials. You could go all the way up to like 60 something, and you had access to the pay-per-view channels and everything else. We never had that growing up for me.
So that was the, was it the Sprucer? Something. I remember it was a gray box. It had the red LED numbers.
Yeah.
That was like that for me in my memory. That's what we went from the Gerald box to that box, and that's when I can remember us having like HBO.
Yeah, and
like
it had the red LED numbers on the front of the fucking box.
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
knew what channel
it was
you were
like
on.
Sprucer or something like that. And it had a wireless remote.
Yes, which was amazing technology.
Earth-shattering. Unless you wanted the volume control. Because originally those fucking like the Sony Trinitron that we had in our house that my dad brought back from Japan, which was an amazing television. Like, and I think I talked about it early on in the pod, not in this one, but that I guarantee you that set will turn on. I don't think it'll have all 3 colors, but it'll turn on.
Yeah.
Those days, like there was no option, there was no infrared to fucking change channels, like because that's the early days they were using infrared to do that. There was no option for that, so we had that box into our fucking Sony Trinitron. So if you wanted to fucking adjust the volume, your ass is getting up and fucking having to still fucking control the volume.
Oh yeah. And something else that we haven't really touched on, but I know we've talked about this in previous episodes. Whenever your favorite show is on, let's say your favorite show is fucking, I don't know, Different Strokes on every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. If you're not in place, sitting in front of the TV at fucking 7:59, you're gonna miss some of your show.
Yeah.
There's no rewinding. There's no going back. It's if you miss anything, if you have to go to the fucking bathroom, that's it. You've missed it until they decide to rerun that fucking show 6 weeks from now.
Yeah, and fucking just when we talk about even like pay-per-view shit.
Yeah.
Like if you went and did a pay-per-view movie? What? A pay-per-view
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Not well. You got a pay-per-view anything. There was no like control. Like that shit played.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we're starting. We're starting.
Yeah.
Get your shit together. We're starting.
It was fucking, RoboCop starts at 7 p.m. So you order the 7 p.m. RoboCop, and it starts at 7 p.m. Yeah. Like, there's no, like, whenever I want it to start.
Much like the movie-going experience is like this, there was times for when this shit came on.
Yeah.
And for a lot of those, premium channels, it came on repeatedly, but never like, if RoboCop came on at 8 o'clock, it came on. No, actually, thinking about it, RoboCop probably wouldn't have came on until like after 10 o'clock.
That was a pretty fucking brutal movie.
RoboCop was one of those fucking movies that I was too young for the first time I saw it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh fuck, oh my god, the fucking having these horrific nightmares about the fucking his fucking face without the mask.
Oh yeah, and then the toxic waste guy.
Yeah, it's
and
just
he gets splattered by the car. Oh god.
Yeah, that's one of those movies.
Yeah. Brilliant movie, by the way. But yeah, no, pay-per-view, like it would only unlock the movie for that period of time. Yep. So if you fucking missed it, then you missed it. If you weren't in front of the TV 1 minute before your favorite fucking show started, you missed whatever came on before that.
Unless you had it rigged so that you can fucking tape off of it.
Oh yeah, but then we're getting into VCRs and taping and everything else. But
you had to sit through it. Taped whatever was on the television. So if it accidentally fucking switched off the channel or anything like that, that's what it was taping.
Oh yeah.
But so while it was on, like you said, that it's on, and you would hope that like, oh, I'm not home for this, or I'm away at my grandparents, and hey, can we tape this? And it would come on, and they'd fucking tape it, and I get to watch it later.
Yeah.
But that was like the extremes of having access to VCRs and shit like that, you know, going into a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. Again, VCRs, totally separate episode. So we're going to kind of sidestep that conversation for now.
I'm trying to think now. So we had the big Sony Trinitron.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is forever embedded in my brain for whatever reason. I'll always like, as an Alzheimer's patient, I'll remember that fucking television, right?
Right.
I'm trying to think what my next TV was after that, though.
For you personally, or your family?
Yeah, for our family, for the family TV.
Yeah, see, I don't remember. I think we had a whole slew of different family TVs, but you know, they slowly got bigger. And one thing I will say, you talk about TV sizes, like nowadays, anything under like a 50-inch TV, it's like, get that shit out of my face. I don't want anything less than a 50-inch. I think at our height, growing up in the 90s, our best TV was maybe a 27-inch.
Could you imagine as a child, and this is something we'll probably come back to, look at these screens that we have just right now.
Yeah.
We got these laptop screens that are fucking crazy thin, super amazing resolution.
Backlit, high definition.
And we have these that are attached to supercomputers, and then you have these here that are just fucking displaying random shit.
Yeah.
This is so we can look at the chat, and that's so we can look at the notes. The amount of fucking screens around is like, I would never have thought I would have to be working at CBS for fucking 60 minutes or some shit to fucking have this access to fucking screens.
Yeah, and now it's everywhere. It's so prolific nowadays. It's
English.
Yeah. So, but before we get into anything further in the late 90s and the 2000s, I think it's time to take a break.
Yeah, I agree.
So, with that being said, we're going to take a very quick break and be right back after this word from our sponsors.
El Yucateco, king of flavor. It's a dynamite taste. Oh my god, so many televisions. Let's catch up in the chat. What we got here? COVID. I put an air fryer oven to make cookies at work. Brilliant. We had convection ovens on the jet that we can make cookies in. But Fred Martin, for those of you who don't know, which is probably all of you, he has a knack for cooking. He is good at it. So cooking and sewing, believe it or not. Escape Pod talking about fucking Haldo Swedes fucking wind turbine footage, erection inducing, like brilliant professional looking footage. Go check that out. It's fucking amazing. I am super jealous. I covet the next level of fucking drones so that I can compete at that level. YouTube for nostalgia, like the Star Wars Holiday Special. Yeah, so for the other podcast, for All Things Star Wars podcast, that's how we saw the Holiday Special, was through YouTube. I did our review of that. And then, yeah, I was trying to catch up in the chat. I got oh god, my legs. My leg.
Your brother sent back a lasagna from Sicily. So wait, he put lasagna in a suitcase and brought it back with him from Italy? Oh, let's see what else we got. Penn State. Tetris Worlds on SPUS. All right, I'm sorry, Tom, but the only definitive version of Tetris that I will ever acknowledge is the original Tetris for the NES and for the Game Boy, the one that shipped with the Game Boy, and the Nintendo version of Tetris for the NES. Any other version of Tetris does not exist in my mind. Isaac, you still in the chat? What's up, man? What up, homie? Oh, nice.
Should we make an ice call or?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Let me do that before we get started.
Call 45.
Which, by the way,
Oh, you can take out.
hold on.
It's a
We
dynamite
get
taste.
some ice? Question mark?
Uh,
So, Kristen made a point to let me know that she hears every time we go and take a piss on the side of the house. Because you know where the air conditioner is
Yeah.
in the little alleyway? Like her chair in our bedroom where she does like all of her cross stitching and shit is like right under that fucking air conditioner. So
Wow.
she's like, it's like clockwork. I hear the beeping of the alarm because this door is tied to the alarm system in the house.
right.
And whenever the door opens, you hear a beep beep throughout the
Yeah.
house. She's like, I hear the beep, and then I immediately hear somebody starting to piss on the other side of the air conditioner.
You need better insulation in your house.
Well, it's a window unit, so you can't really
Well, that's true.
insulate that. So
True. Maybe you shouldn't pee directly on the window unit. I'm just saying.
I'm not peeing on it, I'm peeing under it.
Well, pee on the other side, the other wall. Pee on the studio wall, not the house wall.
But she can still hear it, is what I'm saying.
That's some good fucking hearing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We're arguing about the definitive version of Tetris. I'm saying the one that shipped with the Game Boy
Yes.
and the identical version for the NES. Those were the definitive
Yes.
versions.
The
of
ones that
Tetris.
you had on display.
Yes.
And I have my original Tetris for my original Game Boy.
As do I. In fact, hang on. We're still on break.
Honestly, that is like I threw that cartridge into the SP just to check it the other day.
Hold that.
This guy right here. This one. And then the one for Game Boy was just a miniature version of this.
Hold on. Ah!
There it is.
Boom! Read 'em and weep, bitches. Yeah, there were the three different musics.
Yes. Never. I could never get into any of the other musics.
No?
I always went with the original.
Yeah. I would switch it up.
You know why? Because once you got into the harder levels, when the music started to speed up,
Oh,
like
yeah.
I needed to hear like the same rhythm, like for when I was like,
Right.
because when you would fucking press, you press A to fucking, spin the thing around before it got down.
Mm.
It's moving so fucking fast. Like if I heard different music, it would distract me from how many times I fucking hit it.
Right.
So it was a whole thing. Like but that is the definitive Tetris.
Oh, which
Hands
part?
down.
Yeah, for sure. Did you ever play Dr. Mario at all?
No.
So I got Dr. Mario.
Right.
It came out a couple years after this version of Tetris, but I was still big into the NES, and I loved it. Absolutely loved Dr. Mario. Played the shit out of it when it first came out, bought it and all that stuff. Years later, right? I meet this young woman.
Oh, I know this story.
Her and I start dating. This is the same woman that I would eventually go on to marry. But early in our days, we started talking about the Nintendo, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I used to love Dr. Mario." I'm like, "Oh shit, I used to love Dr. Mario too." And she's like, "Oh, did you ever play like the battle, the player battle in Dr. Mario? Because you could do it to where it was a split screen. You each had your own fucking board, and whenever you would make like 4 in a row and all that, it would drop like shit onto the opponent." And I'm like, I think I played it a couple times with like one of my friends growing up, but not a whole lot. It was mostly solo play. She's like, "Oh, well," she's like, "I'll beat you in Dr. Mario." I'm like, whatever. This fucking girl is not going to beat me in a fucking video game. Like, I'm going to tell you that right now. We go and play Dr. Mario. She kicks the shit out of me. Like, it's not even fucking close. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Throughout the years, there have been many versions of Dr. Mario. I bought a lot of them. There was one for the N64. There was one for the fucking Wii. Remember Dr. Luigi when it came out for the Wii? The NES Classic had fucking Dr. Mario on it. Every time a new version of Dr. Mario came out that I would get, her and I would play the competitive version. Fucking kills me every time. Oh, it gets better. Last week, we played. She kicked the shit out of me. I'm like, fuck. she's like, all right, maybe I'll like have a few glasses of wine, and then maybe you can beat me then. I'm like, whatever, sure, you do that. Kristen's not a drinker. She drinks like 3 glasses of wine. She's fucking lit. I'm like, all right, this is my chance. She's like, you want to play Dr. Mario? I'm like, yes. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll fucking kick the shit out of her. She fucking crushes me again. Remember that fucking movie, The Wizard, where it was like that fucking half-retarded kid who was really good at Nintendo games and he won like some fucking Nintendo championship and all that? That's Kristen with Dr. Mario. She's like the fucking autistic kid when you put a fucking controller in Dr. Mario in front of her.
That's really funny. So I never really got into Dr. Mario at all, and God forbid I would never like even think about challenging. But I have it. I had it on the iPhone because they had a version of it that came out on the iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Dr. Mario World.
Yeah.
And yeah, I played it for a minute.
Yeah. We were just telling them about how you
like a half retarded kid. Yes, I heard that part.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
what?
look at this Oktoberfest nonsense.
Nice. Thank you.
Get my ass. Oh,
I'm gonna text you.
thank you.
Okay. I don't need it. Anyway, we ready to get back to the show?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, that was enough banter for now. So hold on, let me find where we are in the notes. All right, we haven't really talked about satellites, so. All right, 30 seconds of silence starting now. Ouch. And we're back. Man, Kristen just sent me the most savage meme. Oh, this is one of those hard to swallow pills. I'm just going to read this on the air because this is rough. Every generation has a painful breakup. Gen Z and TikTok, millennials and Vines, Gen X and cultural relevance. Woo!
That's all right.
God damn.
Gen Xers still have all the purchasing power.
Yeah, that is true. Like, we are in control, so, and we're not fucking sad and depressed like the rest of them, so.
It's relative.
It's
relative.
To an extent.
Yeah, we have all those issues, but we also have the capability to actually get some mental health fucking help.
Yes, what he said. So, moving on. Breezing through the 90s, not a whole lot changed in the 90s, honestly, when it comes to television, the television viewing experience, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
The way we viewed home movies changed, but that's, again, title for another episode. Did we talk about TV guides?
No.
We didn't talk about TV guides. So that was another thing. Well, if you didn't know when your fucking favorite show came on or when, what new shows are coming out this fucking fall, you had no idea unless you had a subscription to TV fucking Guide.
We were not a TV Guide household.
Really?
We were, because my dad got the paper every day. So there was the TV, what was going on TV was in the paper. So,
but it was only for that day.
I think the weekend edition had like kind of a forecast of what was going on.
Okay, because TV Guide, I think it was for a week at a time.
Yeah, it was a weekly subscription or something like that.
Yeah, which we had growing up.
No, we had our house. My dad got the paper every day. They got Reader's Digest. That was fun, exciting reading.
Indeed.
For fucking children. Nothing about Reader's Digest was fucking fun for a child.
Yeah.
Even that little fucking one page of fucking cartoons was completely irrelevant to a fucking, Gen Xer.
Right. But yeah, for me and my family, and to you for an extent with the paper and everything, like if you wanted to know when something was fucking on, you had to Okay, Three's Company is on at 7 o'clock on Channel 6. All right, gotta make sure. Yo, that show was my shit.
Really?
growing up. I loved Three's Company. Fucking loved that show.
What about Three's Company?
Jack Tripper.
Yeah, it was
John
Jack.
Ritter. Like,
It was Jack.
I don't know what it was, but I fucking loved that character. This was before I got boners and everything else. So,
Suzanne
Janet,
Summers was not doing anything.
yeah, Janet, Chrissy, or even later when they brought on Terry, didn't really do anything for me from
Right.
a growing boy's perspective.
Right.
No, it was all about John
The
Ritter.
prepubescent boy. It was about the body humor that
Yeah.
Jack brought.
Yeah, it was that real physical comedy,
Yeah.
that pre-Jim Carrey.
Exactly. I was just thinking that same reference. It was Jim, like he was what Jim Carrey made probably better,
Right.
but still like that method acting, that fucking just falling every time he fell, every time he got himself in an awkward situation was fucking super relatable and fucking funny.
Yeah. And speaking of which, that's probably why I loved In Living Color so much when that came out.
My wife, huge In Living Color fan.
So you weren't back in the day?
I had moments with In Living Color.
So this was actually a big moment for me growing up because In Living Color came out in the early 90s, 92-ish, I want to say.
Right.
I was like early middle school and I still had a bedtime. Like my bedtime was like fucking 9 o'clock or whatever, which was
92.
Something like that, which was when In Living Color started. No, it had to have been, no, it was late 80s. It was like 88, 89.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely.
Anyway,
It was before I started high school.
Yeah, it was before high school. I was still young enough to have a fucking bedtime. But In Living Color started at 9 o'clock when my bedtime was as a fucking kid. And as soon as it started,
90.
okay, so 90, I'd have been in 6th grade. So, which makes sense,
I
right?
started high school in 90.
No.
Yes.
Because I started in 91. So I'd have been in 7th grade.
Right.
When In Living Color started. Anyway, either way, 7th grade, still had a fucking bedtime at 9 o'clock. In Living Color comes out, starts at 9 o'clock. Within 2 weeks, everybody at school is talking about In Living Color. It's like, holy shit, this show is so fucking funny. This is the best thing on TV right now. And of course, I had to fucking go to bed at 9. This was like my first moment where I fucking put my foot down. Because I knew my fucking parents were watching it too.
Right.
I'm in my fucking bed at 9 o'clock.
Listen to
I
them
can
laugh
hear.
their ass
Yeah, yeah. So I put my foot down. I want to watch In Living Color. All my friends are watching it. This is fucking bullshit that my bedtime. I didn't actually say that. They probably would have fucking backhanded me right then and there.
Right.
But in my, 12-year-old's way of saying this is fucking bullshit. All my friends are watching this. I should be watching this. There's no reason why I can't stay up another half hour so I can watch In Living Color every week. And they acquiesced. They actually gave in and they extended my bedtime a half an hour so I could start watching In Living Color every week.
I think that might have been part of it. I don't think my parents were into it. And while I was in high school, that just it just wasn't something that I was going to be able to sit down and watch.
That's so funny because for me growing up, that was the biggest thing on TV. And this is a whole episode in itself talking about Fox and the fucking the groundbreaking network that it was at the time for people of our generation. They pushed boundaries like holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't even imagine. And In Living Color was like the pinnacle of that.
Yeah.
For me.
We start getting into like the Simpsons episodes and
Yeah, The Simpsons, Married with
Ullman,
Children.
Married with Children.
No, Married with Children. Holy shit! You go back and watch some of that shit now on YouTube,
no
which I do.
fucking way.
Remember
You can't do it. You can't do it
There's
these days.
no fucking way they get.
I'm
away with
surprised
that now.
YouTube even lets it on there.
Yeah.
Just the fucking Al Bundy, man.
Yeah.
Al Bundy was the beacon of our generation.
Indeed. But I mean, that was like In Living Color was this pivotal moment for me where, this fucking little kid actually stood up to his parents and said, this is fucking bullshit. This needs to change. I demand reparations. So
funny, like in the chat, they're talking about Homie the Clown, which I did hear about.
Mm.
Like, so the kind of the greatest hits of fucking In Living Color, I got.
there's no way you could be alive at the time and
Right.
not be aware of
You
it.
got it through everyone else when they're talking about the fucking snaps, like the fucking Z snaps thing. That was all you could fucking
Welcome
do.
to Men on Film.
That's being a fucking sophomore, junior in high school, like that shit was all over the fucking place.
Mhm.
Like it was in your drug seminar. You know, I had the fucking annual drug seminar, like don't do drugs, and it had like the method actors on fucking on stage,
Mhm.
and it was everywhere for shit like that.
Yeah.
For me, the bits that I got from Living Color, the biggest ones were like Fire Marshal Bill. Like Jim Carrey at his just fucking most outlandish fucking craziness was the shit I loved.
Oh yeah.
And for the same reason, like we started this conversation with talking about Jack Tripper.
Yep.
Right? That's the same reason. It's that fucking the physical comedy of it was fucking hilarious.
Mhm.
And I didn't need a laugh track to fucking tell me.
No,
Which, by the way, that's all we had. We had fucking laugh tracks for everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Live studio audiences, people there were fucking laughing. Insanity to think about what it's like fucking today.
Yeah. And then, you know, that's a good transition into the late 90s and then into the early 2000s, where up to this point, it was all the studio audience shows, all your sitcoms,
Right.
your fucking variety shows, whatever. Late 90s, fucking Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, R.I.P. Regis Philbin, you know, started to hit. Then you started having this whole game show trend on fucking TV.
Yeah.
And it was everybody had to have a fucking game show because Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is super successful. And then in the early 2000s, you started getting shows like Survivor that were hitting big. And then the whole fucking reality show thing blew the fuck up.
Reality TV is an episode in and of itself. But
It is.
But the Merv Griffin, like we're glossing over an entire like, hey, you're homesick on fucking television. Like what were the staples of the early fucking the big three, the network TVs?
Yeah.
They had the stories, right? Like if your grandmother or your parents, like they had to watch their stories, which is the
Days
fucking
of Our Lives,
soap operas were fucking big. When Dallas, like
don't even get me started on Dallas.
Who Killed JR? Like as kids, that was something that was in our fucking household.
So going back to the discussion about whatever was on the TV is what everybody watched every Friday night. I think it was 8 to 9 o'clock. My mother watched Dallas. So guess who else watched Dallas? Jason.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing else to fucking do. And it was actually a way for me and my mom to bond to the point where I got fucking hooked on Dallas. By the end of the 80s, I'm like fucking all in. I'm like, oh fuck, what's Bobby going to do this week?
Well, you know, it's funny because you think back on it, and Dallas was a soap opera, but with a level of production that was like just above it.
Yeah.
And so, like, even watching it, like when you watch a soap opera, you know you're watching a fucking soap opera. Like the camera angles, the fucking just the cinematography of it.
Sure.
Like that is a fucking soap opera. Dallas was like this mega production.
Yeah.
That it felt different. Dallas, fucking Miami Vice.
Oh, Miami Vice.
Miami Vice. That was one of the shows that I got to sit and fucking watch.
Yeah.
It was Miami Vice. Crockett and Tubbs, man. Fucking white Ferrari Testarossas and
oh hell yeah.
Just that show. I still to this day, when you hear In the Air Tonight, Phil Collins, like that song was playing when Tubbs dies. In like the finale of Miami Vice, that song is playing with fucking motorboat and boom explosions and shit like that. Like me, that's like probably one of my earliest experiences where I was watching a series of shows, and had an investment in a fucking character. When that character died, you felt something about it. Like that was one of the first times. Miami Vice was that fucking show. Don Johnson in his white fucking oh my god. It was
he had the pink shirt, right? Pink shirt, the white
jacket. These are cops, and they're getting all kinds of crazy things, and you know it's Miami. Yeah, there's fucking sexy broads, and
which is when they made the video game Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Yes,
like you're just fucking all in. Like for people like us who grew up during that time, you know, GTA 3 was all fine and good, but then when they came out with Vice City, it's like
Vice City was a game changer.
Yeah.
It was literally a game changer.
Yeah.
When did Miami Vice start?
God, I want to say 85, 86-ish.
Let's see if Jason's right. 84. Original release in 84.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And until 1990. January 25th, 1990.
Yeah.
We talk about these shows. I wanted to start talking about it was the game shows.
Oh, yeah.
The Price is Right.
Yeah.
Right, Price is Right. Or your
Which I love that.
Yeah,
The original
even,
version?
even today.
Yeah.
Even today, Drew Carey does a good job of Price
Well,
is Right.
and because they preserved a lot of what made that show fun. You
Yeah.
know, with the bidding in the first round and the
Yeah.
fucking spinning the wheel at the
It's
end.
the same show. It's the same show.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the few times the staples, right? The my train of thought started with Merv Griffin, right? When he had all of these shows like The Dating Game and all these shows that I didn't really give a fuck about, except for like Price is Right, and Jeopardy, and Wheel of Fortune. Like right now, in 25 minutes, Jeopardy's gonna come on. Like it's still a thing. Alex Trebek is still doing that thing.
Yeah.
Those, to me, those days are done. Like when Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune go off the air, that is truly the end of that era.
Yeah.
Of the, hey, here's a guy like Merv Griffin who was he's a Jersey guy. He had owned property in Avalon, New Jersey. He's the guy who made Oprah. Like he was the fucking mega conglomerate that made all these fucking hits.
Yeah.
And those days are over. Like because what they do today is they ring all that shit till it's dead. Like you can't just have all right, every year we're just going to keep going.
Oh yeah, there's
thing.
no original ideas in Hollywood anymore.
They're ringing the shit out. Like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is still on television, but now it's on like a third-rate fucking channel with people that you don't even know as the host, with fucking schmucks that $1 million isn't what $1 million used to be, right? And like, are you smarter than a fucking fifth grader? Like, really? This is going to be a fucking thing?
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
now it's a video game, it's a board game, it's everything else. And
I just feel like growing up with the big three, when you're like in between the soap operas, around lunchtime is when the fucking game shows would come on.
Yeah.
And that's, hey, fuck yeah, I'd rather fucking, if I'm sitting here and I'm sick on the fucking couch, I can't do anything, I'd rather fucking watch a game show than sit through a goddamn soap opera, because God, it's so awful.
So let's wrap this up by going into the HD era, right? Like I said, from the physical television standpoint, not a whole lot changed throughout the 90s and into the early 2000s. It wasn't until, screens kept getting bigger. You had more TVs coming with the audio video jacks, but not much else until the HD TVs, your 720p's and then your 1080p television started hitting. Then that's when that physical television really started to change and you started noticing a difference.
Yeah.
And I don't think I got my first HD TV until like 2007 or 8.
Oh yeah, we were still living in base housing. The television we had in base housing, it was like a 27-inch CRT. That was the family TV for us as airmen.
Yeah.
And then when I moved into the house in Runnymede, I think we upgraded from that to a flat screen.
Yeah.
And that flat screen, my son has that flat screen. It's the same one.
Yeah.
But we had CRT all the way for a long time because young family, airmen, living in base housing, like you didn't have a lot of expendable income to buy shit like TVs.
Yeah, and those first HD TVs weren't cheap by any stretch.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I remember being in the squadron, like, because remember during these times, like for Jason and I in particular, like we started in the military in the mid 90s, and now we're watching the shit progress to where you had, hey, we're watching fucking briefings and you're watching videos. Like you would sit down and put in a video cassette to watch something on a fucking
pre-CBTs.
Yeah,
it was pull out the old VHS for whatever
watch some
training.
Grainy fucking shit from a 135A model smoking out something, but it was the old AV cart like you would in school, AV cart style. Fucking here's this television, and I remember I was in the unit. And it was with the old B model. Yeah. And we bought the flat Sonys, the one that they just now got rid of when they updated those fucking rooms.
Yeah.
And they were fucking heavy. Oh my God, those things were so fucking heavy. I remember moving them in. It's a whole other thing. But we got plasmas, and we had plasmas in the unit, and those things were like they were flat. They were fucking heavy.
Yeah.
But they were flat screen. The fucking picture was amazing on it. You're just like, holy shit, this is unattainable for me as fucking, Staff Sergeant Martin. There's no fucking way.
And that was my first reaction too when HDTVs came out. And I'm looking at this fucking picture, I'm like, holy fuck, it's like that person is really right fucking there. Yeah. This is like a 1080p television, which is fucking ancient technology now in 2020.
Yeah.
But in 2008, I'm like, holy fuck. I remember, who's the one guy from Pink Floyd who broke off from the group and he's fucking touring on his own?
I don't fucking know.
David Gilmour.
Sure.
Got a fucking, I got my first HD TV and I got fucking, not DirecTV, but whatever the other satellite was. Dish Network. And they had this concert channel in HD. So it was like one of the first HD channels I got.
Right.
And it was David Gilmour in concert. And I'm looking at this and it's like I'm there in the fucking audience. The picture was so crystal clear. The sound was amazing. I'm just like, it was.
Yeah. There's no turning back at that point.
Yeah.
There's no turning back. As much money as that cost, I remember our first, when we went from the CRT to that flat screen, that Sony. I had a thing for Sony, so I still do.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of the original Sony Bravias, and it was, I think 42 inches, and same with you. It was sitting there in front of it, going, it's taking up almost my entire field of vision.
Yes.
Right? Because it was sitting close enough to it where it's like, you started getting to a point with CRTs where you're like up in it, where you're like getting irradiated from the fucking electron beam. But now I'm in the screen. It's wider than my field of view. Yeah, it is a good shirt. It was wider than my field of view, and the fucking picture was amazing. And then when you put a video game on it, like, hey, here's my fucking PS1 with my new PlayStation 2 playing fucking NCAA football on it on the PS2.
Oh, yeah.
Holy fuck if it wasn't like the best day ever. And you think about it, like 720p, like those words, like 720p, 1080, like you went from, okay, you have a TV, then you had a flat screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the nomenclature. And flat screens insinuated that you had something like an HD television. At least that's how it was for us.
Sure, yeah.
And then you went from the HD screen to you start getting into ridiculous shit like with the 4K and everything else. Which even to me, saying it right now, 1080p for me is still fine. Like no, I don't have 4K televisions in my house.
I have one 4K TV, and if it's not optimized for 4K, there's really no difference between that and 1080p.
Yeah, I think we're here in 2020 as we're having this conversation. Like I still. The TVs I have in my house are fucking amazing. Like I have a 60-inch Sony at home right now, which I think is when I'm watching hockey in HD over the air. We didn't even talk about this. We went from having rabbit ears, right? We went from having rabbit ears to sometime in I guess it was the early 2000s. They're like, okay, we're going from analog like broadcast television. We're changing that all to digital.
I want to say this was like the early 2010s, like 2011, 2012, because I remember this was a big thing.
Yeah.
When they're like, hey, if you're still watching TV with rabbit ears, that's about to like go fucking dark because we're going to this, like what you said, this all digital over the air fucking broadcast.
Digital over the air for your network television. So a TV set had to have a decoder.
Yeah. Like
you had to have decoders. So you were either buying a decoder so you can fucking use. So a lot of people had UHF fucking antennas outside their house. They were pulling in these signals. You had those things that look like clothes hangers outside of people's houses that were there for the television.
Yeah.
And you went from an analog signal to getting HD. I watched the Flyers game last night on my television. Like I have an outside antenna.
Yeah.
It's a small fucking antenna. Unfortunately, it's on the wrong side of the house. I really need it to be on the northern side of the house where it's facing the city so that I can get channel 6 better. But fucking channel 3, channel 10, like CBS and NBC, like fucking glass.
Oh, yeah.
Like crystal fucking clear, digital HD. I'm watching hockey on a 60-inch television without a cable. Without a subscription service, and that's fucking raping me for more money.
Indeed, because now coming full circle, everybody's getting internet streaming, right? Everybody's cutting the cord.
Yeah,
they're getting rid of these cable services and they're going to just like all the streaming, the Netflix, the fucking Hulu, all that shit. But if you still want your local sports, you got to get you got to get a package. Antenna.
And well, no, it's not even that. So like fucking hockey, like because it was Sunday, like they had it's on NBC. That's like. They'll have hockey playoff games, and they'll have fucking what's that fucking singing show that's been on for too long?
The Voice.
No, the other one.
America's Got Talent.
America's Got Talent. Like that's on NBC, and America's Got Talent's on instead of fucking playoff hockey. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is still watching this show?
Yeah.
First of all, like it is hot garbage. Like nobody gives a flying fuck about that show.
Mhm.
Let hockey be on. But no, I'd have to be on that fucking whole nother
Right.
episode
But-
to talk about fucking the monopolized fucking Comcast bullshit.
But when you talk about sports and watching it in HD, like honestly, I think sports is the best thing that you can be watching on a high definition television. If you've got an HD feed of any kind of sports feed, NFL, NHL, baseball, it looks fucking beautiful on an HD TV. And now you can do that, coming back full circle, over a fucking antenna.
Over the antenna. You want to test out how good your fucking television set is, like for color, like because you can get a fucking 60-inch television now for less than $1,000.
Yeah.
A decent one for
Oh, yeah.
less than
Especially
$1,000.
on like Black Friday and everything. Oh, yeah.
Insanity how fucking cheap TVs are now.
Mhm.
I can't imagine like being my parents and looking at today how accessible and cheap fucking televisions are. That's a whole other conversation. But you want to fucking test your television for sharpness, for color, and everything else, you need to watch the Masters.
Ooh.
Like
yeah.
you don't have to be into golf, okay? The Masters it's a preeminent golf tournament, but when you're watching the Masters, there's no advertising.
Right.
Like the Masters, like no, when the Masters is on, you're watching the Masters, and that's it. Now they'll have like certain things, like CBS will be able to do picture-in-picture stuff, but the primary viewing experience is the Masters.
And a lot of the time, most of the time, you're getting those wide shots of the terrain.
Watch
Right.
the greens,
Yeah.
the fucking the Masters. Ordinarily, COVID has fucked it all up. It's going to be in the fall,
Yeah,
but
we're just talking normal times.
normal times when you're watching the Masters, it's in the spring. You got the azalea bushes, like you got these brilliant pinks and fucking the colors are amazing. You're looking at the greenest grass you've ever fucking looked at. I mean, so much so that there's all these conspiracy theories about them going out there. They're painting the fucking grass because when HD TVs came out, like it was always a thing. Like the Masters was like, oh fuck, the course. The course is the conversation.
Yeah.
The players on the course and what they're doing is a part of it, but the course itself and the beauty and the majesty of the fucking golf course is a huge part of it. And the fucking you'd have to go in there with these HD television, the HD cameras, like these ultra high definition cameras now. Like you
can see individual blades of grass.
Yeah.
in
Oh
these
shit.
fucking
There's
things.
a little brown spot over here. Like
Yeah.
they're fucking calling out. Like they would do that back in the day. You can't get away with that shit now.
Yeah.
Like because the fucking picture is so good. Like I said, you want to test out your TV. You want to see how good are my colors? How sharp is this shit?
Yeah.
You're watching sports. You're watching fucking high speed with the swings, the ball tracking, everything else, and you're gonna see all the brilliance of the colors and everything else. That to me is a test of your fucking television.
Oh yeah.
Like if you've got if that doesn't look fucking amazing to you, you've got the wrong TV.
Mm-hmm. And for the last 2 years, we've hosted Super Bowl parties here at the Roscoe household that you and Kathy have come to, and the Super Bowl has always been over the antenna that we played. We don't have cable. We don't have anything else. We've been playing the Super Bowl over this fucking HD antenna, and it's looked fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing that we could get to a point where we have a television with the decoder is built into the television.
Mm-hmm.
All you need to do is provide an antenna, and then that
which are cheap. You can get it for like $20 at Walmart.
You can get a really good one for like between $25 and $30. The kind that you would put on the outside of your house and run a coax into the fucking television.
Yeah, which again, coming full circle, they've got a fucking coax that you screw in your goddamn TV.
Well, let's face it, like the technology of the coax is you've got the impedance is good, fucking very little signal interference because it's got that braided cord.
Yeah, it's insulated.
It's insulated. So it's a good high fidelity setup.
Yeah.
But it's probably the best thing you're gonna get for like house to house besides fucking fiber.
Yeah. And I think the whole point of this is, like you said early on in the episode, when you grow up the way we grew up with the black and white TVs and the rabbit ears, eventually, evolving into color TVs and cable TV, you really appreciate what we have now so much more by experiencing that when our kids, this is all they know. All they know is HDTV.
Right.
I don't think even my oldest son, Rob, has real memories of pre HD TVs.
like a television set.
Yeah.
Like it's something that dominated the room. We didn't even talk about like how a TV was. We did talk about it briefly, like the domination of like you had TV cabinets that were fucking huge.
Yeah.
They had to be on the floor.
It took up a whole fucking wall sometimes.
Yeah.
Like your TV stands and everything else.
I remember as a kid, our television was, my dad built a fucking stand to have the TV elevated to the point where you could sit in a chair, like sit on a couch or whatever, and be able to look straight at the TV.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the sets, especially the bigger ones, were on the floor because they're so fucking heavy.
Mm-hmm.
He built out of oak a fucking entertainment center.
Right, and they were designed that way. They were designed to sit on the floor because there were these big fucking monstrosities.
Yep. Big fucking electron, like the technology that goes in, like TV technology is just amazing in and of itself. And like, not even talking about how we got to this point, but like how we project fucking those television screens back in the day. You had to have a giant fucking heavy ass fucking thing. That's just, it was part of it. What's really funny is like coming full circle with the TV cabinets and shit like that. Like those are actually fairly coveted. Like before, the people would throw that shit out on the curb.
Of course.
Like you had these oak cabinets that were built around these television sets that, you know, yeah, the TV went bad, but you had some really good furniture built around it that people were like, you know what, we need to get this out of here. They did the same thing with fucking turntables. Like radios and turntables.
Right.
Like, it's built into this big fucking piece of furniture that they don't want to have in their house anymore. They get rid of it. Like that's really good fucking furniture wood.
Yeah.
And good detail work that is in that. And plus, turntables they build today are fucking garbage. Like I'm still searching for that perfect like Facebook Marketplace deal where it's like somebody doesn't know what they have and they're fucking getting rid of it for $15. Like yeah, I'll take that old turntable off of you.
That's a discussion for another episode.
Indeed.
Though. So, but yeah, I
George.
think, and I mean, I don't know, where does TV go from here? We're already at 4K TVs, right? 4K TVs, 4K Blu-rays, all that shit. I mean,
well, there's 8K out.
Is there?
There's 8K that's allegedly out there.
What's the difference,
though? My daughter, when she was still a telecommunications major, was saying that the 4K and 8K are both scams. Like it is a, you start like with 4K and 8K, you start getting into processed imaging. Like everything has to be processed to a certain point to get to that resolution.
And apparently, there's only so much that the human eye can even process.
That's actually correct.
So, like, you're going to get to your saturation point.
Well, we could talk about how frame rates, how when certain video games came out with certain frame rates, how on some of these newer TVs they would all dicked up, and you'd have to fucking go in there and dick with it. Like that's a big thing. Like you could go out and buy a fucking 1080p television right now, but if it doesn't have a refresh rate that handles certain things, it's going to look shitty.
Oh, we didn't even talk about this fucking bullshit that they've been pushing since the inception of HD TVs and the true motion fucking shit. And most of these HD TVs nowadays come with that on by default. I fucking hate that shit. It's like true motion, real motion, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
I remember this coming up on a Project VCR episode where you and Doug were talking about it. I'm like, I have no idea what you're fucking talking about. Like, because you're talking about it in movies, like certain movies, how it fucked up on the movie.
Yeah. It looks like shit. Well, and I know, like, the second I go to somebody's house and they don't turn that shit off of their TV,
right,
I recognize it immediately. Like, there is no fucking doubt that they just left the fucking bullshit on, because as soon as characters start moving on screen, it's very off-putting.
Really. And
I can't fucking stand it, which makes me wonder if, like, the HD TVs that you watch at your house have this shit turned on.
They might.
Oh, that would drive me fucking crazy.
I don't know.
That's the first thing I have to do. Whenever I get a new TV, I have to turn that shit off.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
It may very well be on there. Is it? Am I going to notice it when I'm playing Call of Duty?
No, it's really irrelevant for video games. It's more for like movies and TV.
Yeah, so I'm very infrequently watching fucking movies and TV, except for sports.
Yeah.
And if it was going to be noticeable in sports, then I probably would have shut it off.
I think sports might escape that also.
Yeah. So my viewing experience is not necessarily going to lead me to this fucking area where it's going to irritate me.
Right. So, but I mean, I guess the whole point of all that was 20 years from now, who the fuck knows where we're going to be when it comes to actual televisions?
Who the fuck think about it. We're talking about 2010 when fucking it went analog to digital.
Mhm.
Like flat screen TVs were still barely a thing.
Yep.
Like where it was an affordable thing where a lot of people could get it.
Yeah.
And now we're at a point where what I want to do for next week is I want to talk about this throwaway generation. That when we're building things now, instead of buying something to last, we're buying it until it breaks so we can buy another one.
This is a perfect example of that.
Yeah. That fucking computers, televisions, like all these things that we have that are so accessible and so cheap now, they're that way for a reason.
Mm.
And I think that's a very interesting thing because talking about where we came from with televisions, like I talk about the Sony Trinitron that we had in our house. That thing was there for decades.
Yeah.
It was built to last for decades until it got to a point where it's just not serviceable anymore because it was too expensive to maintain fucking television tubes and the shit that is contained in there. So I personally, I want to have that conversation. Like now that we're a throwaway generation, how can we? Yes, all right, great. We're moving into fucking the flatter screens with the incredible resolutions and everything else. But what do we like? There's something that has to be lost in the margin there, because I want to be able to. I like an Apple product. I'm one of those people that makes an argument that with an Apple product, like I expect this to last as long until it fucking breaks.
Especially for as much as you pay for
Exactly. This is a fucking supercomputer that you're carrying around in your pocket with an amazing, like this screen is fucking ultra HD fucking screen.
Yeah.
The Retina displays, holy fuck. Those things are amazing, especially when you're doing photo editing and shit like that. These computers that I carry around in my pocket, I want this to last for a long fucking time.
All right, well, let's put a pin in that. We don't want to blow our loads right now,
right?
Because we've already blown our loads all over, 2 hours worth of television talk. So, that being said, social media.
At Gen X POV across all of your social media venues.
Yes.
Anything that you do. And while you're finding us at Gen X POV on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all those good things, find El Yucateco.
Yes.
On Instagram, El Yucateco _. It's an underscore. It's the line at the bottom. El Yucateco _ hot sauce on Instagram. El Yucateco on everything else. If you're using the El Yucateco product and you're enjoying yourself, which you should be because it's awesome, hashtag King of Flavor, hashtag El Yucateco, hashtag Gen X POV.
Yes. Please let them know that we sent you.
Let them know.
Because we need it, because advertising contracts are coming up soon. I just heard from Brent.
Oh, fair enough. So we've got to be proving our mettle.
Yes,
as it were.
Please tell El Yucateco that the Gen X POV podcast sent you.
Jason will suck your dick.
I will suck your dicks for some exposure.
You will. Which seems counterintuitive, right? One thing begets the other.
Indeed. So, but yeah, please do that. If you want to bullshit with us throughout the course of the week when we're not recording podcasts, go onto Facebook, join the private Facebook group, the Sidebar Cantina. There will be a question, which
there's a couple questions in there.
There is. One of them is who is your favorite host? And I already regret creating that question because the two times that people have answered that question, it's been Dave. It's like everybody loves Dave.
Yep.
So
color commentary right
indeed.
Here, folks.
So, but yeah, answer those questions. We'll let you into the group, and
it's fun. The Sidebar Cantina is where
it's where the magic happens.
It is, and a lot of depravity, and that's where we get to know each other and actually have a good fucking time.
Yes.
So, who doesn't have one of those? What's the matter, Lunar Girl? I don't. See, I'm failing at my mission of keeping up with the chat because we've been so engaged today.
Indeed.
Everyone prefers Brady to all things Star Wars presents the Escape Pod.
I understand, Don. It's you know what we organize and we make all the magic happen. Yep. They just roll in. They just do whatever the fuck they want. They take all the credit. Everybody loves
your
them.
House, and they just roll in here and fucking just be awesome. And
trust me, we're like this stuff.
Everyone loves you.
Yeah.
So check out those guys too. The Escape Pod on all your favorite podcasting venues.
Yep. And we've got, of course, the relaunch of the Used and Abused podcast coming September 11th. Never forget.
Glad you remember that because I forget. The list is long but distinguished.
We've got so many, like, it's so funny too because all of our like longtime followers have all ended up becoming content creators themselves. I can't wait for Luna Girl to start her own podcast.
Yeah.
It's the Luna Girl Astronomy Podcast or whatever. It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. So
That would be awesome.
it would be.
Yeah, I love like photography, drone flying. I could see Big Swede turning into Big Swede's drone adventure. You know, to go along with the other 42 fucking titles. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Content creation is fun.
It is, and even if you
It's a
only
labor
have
of love.
Well, yeah, even if you only have a dozen people who follow you, it's still fun when they tune in. Like today, we've got a lot of our usuals in the chat, and it's great to have these folks in here to bullshit with them and to
and
provide mutual content to each other.
And this is not this is the Sidebar Cantina. If you are following us, subscribe on YouTube.
Yes, please.
And follow us on Facebook because I know we're going out on Facebook Live, but go to YouTube. We need to get 100 subscribers to get to a point
URL.
Where, so we can establish our own URL as opposed to the fucking 15-digit number. No, it's probably 16 digits.
Yep.
Just get on YouTube, subscribe to us, get involved in the chat. We will we'll engage with you as much as we possibly can during the show.
Yes.
I think that's it.
That is it. Because
Look
Dave
at
has to go. 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Just like clockwork.
On the dot.
All right.
We knew what we were fucking doing.
Jeez. Yeah, sometimes,
Sometimes shit just works out.
Indeed. All right. I just want to leave you with this. Remember, everything that we told you today was true from a Gen X point of view.
Okay, now what do I click?
2 weeks in a row with Hank. Is that the new thing? Is that how we're doing this now?
Oh, maybe until I come up with another one. do Mickey Mouse. Do Mickey Mouse.
Oh, God. Oh, okay, now what do I click?
Okay, now what do I click?
Dude, 5. We're still live, by the way.
It's alive. Oh my God, I don't feel like I'm facing this reality, honestly.
Yep.
Ugh.
I have to go to work tomorrow. I have to actually physically be at work. I hate meetings so much.
Oh God, yeah. Well, I would.
I had like 4 meetings over Teams today.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are still using it's what, CVR?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Mm.
It's it's Zoom. It's Zoom for us. We use the Zoom Gov accounts that we have. We never, because there's a portion of Mattermost where you can go. There's actually video conferencing inside Mattermost.
Really?
Yeah, and we're pushing towards that technology. We did just been a big ad push for getting AMC to buy off on spending some more money on the Mattermost platform, so we can kind of expand out make sure we have enough users and everything else. So Dutch was the producer of the basically the video that went to the fucking 4 stars.
Yeah.
To have that conversation, and apparently got good traction. So more to follow on that. But yeah, if you go into Mattermost and there's like a little video icon, and you can participate via phone, you can, and it's all through Mattermost, so you have a level of encryption that you don't get. Like Teams has some of that, but the problem with Microsoft shit is that it's not.
It's Microsoft.
Yeah, you're not getting, like, you're not going to do for official use only over that. It probably shouldn't be.
We've always been told that it's cleared up to FOUO,
FOUO,
which doesn't exist anymore.
FOU doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, the new CUI. Did you do all that fucking bullshit OPSEC, all the new OPSEC shit we have to do?
It's on my list.
We have till September. And the problem with that shit is that they like made this huge push, like everybody has to get down and do it, right? And like everybody floods their fucking site. So now the DoD site can't handle all the fucking traffic for people to take the CBTs.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah, it's shocking.
Mm-hmm.
And, you don't have the infrastructure to fucking handle all these people.
You didn't have the infrastructure to handle fucking NipperNet, period. And now you're trying to get everybody to flood this fucking website? Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so the ones that I have taken, I've taken at night. Like I'm sitting there doing something else, I'll run through it at night.
Run through.
It's basically the same shit.
Yeah. Well, and that's the funny thing too, is as we're building up towards this big thing that my squadron's doing coming up,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, well, you got to do your self-aid buddy care. I'm like, motherfucker,
What?
I've been doing this shit for 26 years, every single fucking year, for 26, 25 years, self-aid buddy care. I kind of know it. They're like, well, you still have to sit through the CBT. It's like, trust me, I've been through all of this.
Self-aid buddy care changed, I think, in like 2008, 2009, when they changed the DFAC kit they carry, because the tourniquet changed and all this other shit.
Still,
like,
it's
yeah. I remember, and back in '98, right? We were doing that was the St. Patrick's Day fucking ORE down in,
yeah.
I was part of that, and it was me and Ray Miller. Ray Miller's still in, and we were going through basically the trainer training for self-aid buddy care. We were also the security forces augmentees.
Oh, Jesus.
So we had to go through all that. Like, I didn't get to, like, legitimately, I didn't get to work on a fucking airplane, like, during one of these missions or exercises until we fucking deployed.
Yeah.
Then I actually got to go and work on an airplane. Until then, I was a fucking guard bitch. Here's your fucking M16, and here, put on your fucking battle rattle and go stand and fucking and do these gates. I might as well have been a fucking Army infantry guy. All right. So it wasn't until fucking Northern Watch that I actually got to go. And oh wow, I get to do shit on an airplane. Wow.
Yeah,
it was pretty fucking amazing. And of course, we get a goddamn Scud launch status, and nobody knows how to put their fucking mock gear on. Just fucking hilarious.
I can only imagine.
6 months.
Bunch of guardsmen like, fuck.
6 months after, well, a little more than 6 months after we had a fucking ORI, and people.
Everybody just.
Dude,
immediately brained up all that shit.
So fucking Chiefs were like MOP condition, we're MOP 4 condition black, right? And Chiefs were like, put on your web gear. We're like, hey, I think that means something else. I don't think that means what you think it means. And yeah, going and looking at the Desert Storm vets, and they're like, those guys know what they're fucking doing. I'm going over there.
Yeah.
All the old even Irish troops that were fucking around during the Gulf War. Like, okay, they're gearing up. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than fucking working on an airplane with your fucking mock gear on too, by the way. It was pretty fucking horrific.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was on the 135s as air crew when we were doing ERPs.
Yeah, fuck ERPs.
That was terrible.
Fuck that bullshit.
I have never gotten claustrophobic in my life until I got into the ERPs gear.
Yeah.
And then they put the big fucking plastic bag over my whole body. I'm like, get me out of here right now.
Yeah.
Get this thing off of me.
Yeah.
Right fucking now.
Here, we're gonna put this outfit on you, and then we're gonna also enclose it in a Ziploc bag. You cool with that? Is that good?
No, I'm not cool with that. Get it off of me.
Oh, and then you have
right
to
now.
let's go through the decon stations where like you're standing there while some fucking senior airman tries to unfuck himself in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And
oh, by the way,
Christ.
this is all happening in like June.
Yeah.
In the Northeast.
Oh, August. My first fucking ORE was in August in fucking Mississippi.
Woo.
Gulfport, Mississippi for a fucking ORE.
Woo.
Fuck you. You're in MOP 4 for like it's until you passed out.
Yeah.
And then they fucking took your shit off. It was fucking stupid.
Oh god.
But that's when the training was. It was all in the summertime because fucking they won't want to fly airplanes in the wintertime.
Right. Well,
anyway,
you have to go, don't you?
I gotta get going.
All right. Well.
Cheers, everybody out there in the land. Wish me luck for the rest of the week. I have a feeling it's going to be way more exciting than I want it to be.
And I'm sure we'll hear about it next Monday.
Probably not, honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably this
like
stuff is
too personal.
Yeah. This is
like way too personal to even air on the podcast.
This is not podcast material.
Wow.
For sure.
You know it's serious.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Because we've had days where Dave has ranted about stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then I've had Kathy call me.
Yeah.
At like 9:30 that night, she's like, "Can you cut that out of the episode?" What he talked
about? That happened once.
But it has happened.
It has happened. There is precedence for that.
Yeah.
No, that will not happen this time.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Well, thanks everybody who's still sticking with us.
Yeah.
But it is time to say goodnight.
I would for you loyal listeners out there that some people have asked about Patreon. Probably get the Patreon shit established in a week or two.
In a week or two.
You know, we're letting things get out there
And
for a little bit.
I still want to. I have things to send to our previous patrons.
Well, I
And
think
I really want to get that stuff out there before we start a new Patreon. I've got a whole stack of things to
Jason,
send.
if we're fucking waiting for that to happen, we're never gonna start a new Patreon. Where's the bag? I bought boxes and bags and all this other shit to make this stuff happen.
It'll happen.
Look for the Patreon. I'm going to keep riding Jason about it. Those of you who support us in the past,
Yes.
we look forward to your continued support.
Indeed.
And during this election season, give to us.
Yeah.
As opposed to your local party.
Oh, which, by the way, that's what's going to keep me entertaining through Sober October as we're leading up to the presidential election. That's how I'm going to stay entertaining when I go off on all my political rants instead of drinking alcohol.
Oh my God, we're going to be drinking. He's going to break it.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, but I'm going to try.
Shenanigans are going to be fucking way too. They'll be enhanced shenanigans.
Well, and it's going to be even worse in November because
I may go to the moon in November.
Because when Trump gets reelected, this whole country is going to fucking burn to the ground.
I doubt it. We like our fucking flat screen televisions, and there's a lot of fucking people out there that talk good talk, but there's some people that are trying to fucking burn down Seattle, like the slowest burn ever, like an incense candle burning, and when it burns out, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't actually do any damage or smell good. It just fucking it exists.
I mean, we'll see, but
I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Once again, it's between a turd sandwich and a giant douche and Kanye. Well, Kanye's out, fortunately.
Is he?
Yeah, he stepped out of the race.
What? Last I heard, he was still trying to get on one of the ballots.
Who knows? Who knows?
Why are you still here?
Because you haven't ended the show yet. You have the button.
No, the show is over. This is the after party.
All right, well,
so you can leave whenever you want.
And broadcast.
But I don't want to because I love talking to you guys. But I guess since Dave's actually
I'm going to disconnect this fucking computer, so all this shit is going to go away.
Half of it will go away. But that being said,
I spill on myself.
Thanks, guys.
The fuck? Just moisture? The fuck? Oh, you know what? It's been dripping off of the glass.
Okay. See you guys next week.
Peace, bitches.